Hi, Daddy. What you doing?
You doing the regatta shuffle right now? Oh, a little scullin' and scoopin'. Some count style and thing. Well, let's go. Skull with your left foot. Skull with your right.
Yo, it's your boy Dyson Knight. Welcome to the show, episode 151, the Sup'M Show. We are definitely live. Let me jump straight in and bring in the co-hosts that are backstage so that we could jump into this exciting episode. What's going on, people?
Happy Sunday. What's that?
My boy correct with the funeral suit today.
The funeral suit. My goodness gracious. No, it's not a funeral suit.
Yeah.
It's a suit of life.
It's a suit of life. That's right.
Finally, we're back on the screen
I'm
that
saying.
we're usually using, where we can usually do things like this without getting in trouble.
Usually can do things like that.
Yeah.
I ain't sure. It looked like soda to me. What we talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that
Viral cannot. Where was he at? Captain Viral.
Not Captain Viral.
Boy, can't say. First, he said he could be on time. Well, initially he said no, we can't do it because he's gonna be late. And then he said he'll be on time in the group chat. And then he scratched it. He said no, I'll be closer to 7. So I guess he's still in here in makeup and probably therapy, trying to get his mind right.
Hey.
Yeah.
But
all the things.
But I'm ready for a good show, man. I mean, I think
Same.
I'm still surprised at how difficult it is to get people to understand that a conversation is literally just a conversation. It is
Truly.
a walk towards an understanding. It is not
Come on, bro.
telling people what they need to think.
You already know my rules. 99% of people are what?
Stupid.
There you go.
All right. But how y'all feeling, man?
Blessed, black, and highly favored. Like the good man Charlemagne always says.
Y'all was saying that y'all didn't know too much about the COI. Y'all was able to catch up because these ladies and gentlemen are foreign friends. These Bahamian Americans or American Bahamians. Which way y'all is do it?
Don't come for me.
Okay.
Please.
I'm saying.
What do you qualify and classify yourself as?
Migrants.
Oh, go ahead.
Bahamians who migrated.
Me, I'm classified as a human.
Period. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a human, bro.
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which island y'all from again?
I'm from Abaco. Yeah,
Which island y'all
Dyson.
from again?
Nassau.
I from quiet South Beach Estates.
There you go.
And
Say
what
what?
island that is?
Nassau.
Nassau?
New Providence. Nassau would be further
Providence.
north
Yeah. Okay. All right.
of the island.
Okay. New Providence.
New Providence.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess it's still really. I told y'all a story before about campaigning with different parties and meeting politicians, and upon the introduction, one of the first things they ask is where your people from.
Why?
Now, I don't know. What you think? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, if you was a Bahamian, I mean, like, why does it matter where your people are from? Or even if not, I mean, like,
Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Listen.
What you call
I
it?
mean, if you campaign, if someone you said anyway.
Go ahead.
I trying to understand the logic behind wanting to know where your people from.
I don't. I mean, I could guess, and I guess
Okay.
we just guesstimating in this show, all the time because we don't have all the answers, right? We may not have any of them, but we at least holding the conversation.
Right.
My guess would be because they are like a lot of people feel Lincoln is. they are set on protecting the Bahamas for Bahamians. So if they're gonna allow you close into the campaign, they want to make
Oh,
sure you in working with the KGB
So
or
similar to the Italian
LMNOP.
similar to the Italian mafia then, right?
oh,
You got to be
I
Italian to join the mafia, right?
don't know much about the Italian mafia.
No. It's not that we know much about it. We're talking about the concept. You can't join the mob if you're not Italian. If your roots ain't
Mm,
Italian.
mm, mm. All
There you
right. So
go.
those of you tuning in, Lincoln Bain is going to be joining us at 7:15 p.m. At 7:15 p.m. So what you want to do is you want to follow this page that you're watching the show on, and you also want to share the live, because in just a few, well, not just a few, in about 30 minutes, what time is it now? Yeah,
6:30.
in about 35 minutes, Lincoln Bean will be popping on. I know you don't see Dr. Kent Bazard at this time, but he also will be here, to not so much defend, but really to carry on the conversation of why he decided not to support the COI, um, under Lincoln Bean's leadership, because he felt as though it was a campaign of fair, hate unfair. So I
Yeah,
find it. Go ahead.
okay. No, you know, let me just show this disclaimer out here, right? Right quick. Well, no, not really a disclaimer. Let's just throw something out there, right? Now, before we bring Mr. Lincoln Bain on our show, right?
Hmm.
Please, people, comment sections, y'all conduct yourself, respectfully, man. You understand? There's no
Mm.
need to get in your feelings. There's no need to be disrespectful on either behalf. We
correct.
ain't tolerating that at all. So, with that being said, let's have a great show. Let's find out what everything's about.
Mm-hmm.
Goes left and goes left. You already know. All right. But that's not what we're here for. All
No,
right.
good
There we go.
conversation is
That's it.
welcomed. Good
That's it.
conversation.
I laughing at you so hard right now because my thought is what you could do about it.
For
What you
me,
could do, what you could do about it when they say CYC. Like what, like how you gonna
But my thing is, Dyson, though, even with the people who throw those kind of comments out there, right?
uh-huh.
What is that doing? That
nothing.
still isn't explaining to me why you feel the way you feel,
None.
because it's like, at least try to get me to understand why you feel the way you feel.
Hmm.
So I could say, for example, I could throw this out there. Like I remembered when voting and stuff was going on in Florida, and I'm registered independent. So that means whoever I feel like could do best by me, that's who I could vote for, right?
Right.
But the current governor who is in office, I remembered I said, man, if I could vote for him again, I would.
Right.
And one of my coworkers were appalled. Oh, they took, this book out of the schools and that book out of the schools. And I'm like, I listened to her. But then
Hmm.
at the
Hmm.
same time, I literally was like, I could tell you right now at least 3 to 5 things that he did that directly affected my family in a positive way.
Right.
So I could understand if the books and the such is that important to you. I can understand that that's why you wouldn't want to vote for them again, but also understand my perspective.
And you don't
And
care.
right, but I mean, it don't have to be no name calling. It don't have to be no,
Put it like
you
that.
dish, you dad. It don't have to be any of
Yeah.
that. It's simple communication. Try to, allow people to understand why your stance is your stance, and that
Hmm.
could be done and delivered in a manner that is respectful. And I don't see why that's not the norm.
Because that's not normal for us. That's not how we communicate.
When you say us, who you
It's as
talking about?
simple as Bahamians don't communicate like that. Like
That's not true, Dyson. So what I is.
not and well, you ain't even living in the Bahamas, so you may have forgotten.
I
We
You,
forget.
You know about
I
Bahamians
you,
what?
don't
you,
I don't live in the Bahamas now, but I was a Bahamian.
Straight like
Yeah,
that.
but
And
come on.
I have some logical Bahamians in my circle. So you can just
Logical behaviors. What you
throw
mean by that?
because you say Bahamians do not have a conversation. And I'm saying
I
Bahamians
said
do
What?
know
I
how.
did not say that. I
What you
said
say?
Bahamians, the way we conversate is
Converse.
converse. Sorry, the
Mm-hmm.
way we converse is in a particular manner. A lot of us, a
Oh,
lot of
say
us,
that.
a
Say
lot
a
of.
lot of
A,
us. Don't
oh, so okay.
say
I
that's
wouldn't even
how
say a lot.
all
I wouldn't
Bahamians
even say a
is
lot.
operates.
I would say a good much.
So
We
so
all
are you
should be
saying?
capable of doing it, even though we
We
don't
are.
practice it.
We
So are you
are.
saying? So are you saying that the majority of Bahamians conversate from a real emotional
Converse.
side, or whatever? Talk. That's better. Talk. Talk from a very emotional point of view.
Is that what you're saying, Dyson?
That's the night.
Say it again from a what point of view?
Oh, come on, man. I ain't listening. See that? That's what I don't like. I said, are you trying to say that the majority of Bahamians, when conversate, they conversate from an emotional point of view? Whatever. Is that you trying to say? Or is that what you're
Um,
saying?
is that what I'm saying?
I
I
think
Yeah.
so.
from an emotional point of view. Well, yeah, I
Hmm.
find that a lot of times when we can't defend a point, or we find it difficult to defend a point, or we realize we ain't making no sense, we resort to calling you a
Insult.
sissy,
Well, you
Mm.
know what
telling
though?
you carry your behind.
In my experience, stupid people do the same.
I was literally just gonna say I don't think that's a Bahamian thing
Yeah, that's just
because
stupid people in general.
you
Because
have some
99% of
people
people are stupid.
whose emotional intelligence is top tier, whose communication skills are top tier, and they know how to
Agree.
have conversations. And
Hmm.
Agree.
then you have some people who, man, y'all ever seen any of those sit downs where you may have someone from a different party sitting to a table with a timer on, and someone will come and sit up, right? The
Mm-hmm.
moment their delusion is exploded with an actual fact, they start throwing jabs.
Yep.
And they ain't
True,
Bahamians.
true,
So
true. We wanna remind everyone that Lincoln Band will be here at 7:50, and I know most of you are coming to see what Mr.
I'll
Band
save
has
that
to
one. That's what you saved that one just now. That's in perfect timing. Go ahead.
what Mr. Bain has to say, and how Dr. Bazard is going to choose to expand on what he said about this campaign of hate and fear. Um, I'll also add too that it was just a 20-second, 25, 30-second clip
yeah.
of an
Mhm.
hour and a half show.
Mm.
So there was a lot more that Dr. Bazard said,
Yeah.
and
Before
I
and after.
believe I captured all of the essence of what he said. In fact, you know what? I probably play it a couple of times during the show. So let me see if I can play it even now for those of you who are watching the clip.
That's
If
fine.
you haven't seen it, let me bring that up for y'all right now.
You see why you ain't a part of the Nazi fight, but go ahead.
Why? Why?
Go ahead, man. Play the clip.
When you start to base your entire campaign on hatred and fear, you're never going to win an election doing that. Because according to him and his people, I'm not Bahamian. And my children are Bahamian. My mother represents this country all over the world. Me, you represent this country in Russia, Suriname, China, Japan. I'm not a Bahamian. My daughter who just won 6 gold medals representing the country, is not a Bahamian according to him. So you will never have my support. Like never, ever, ever have my support if that's your position.
All right. So
What prefaced that? Like what was right before that?
You was on the set of it?
No.
Oh, okay. Sure,
Mm-mm.
sure.
Mm-mm.
I think we were just talking about why the COI, or how the COI could have won more votes
Right.
that would make it impossible for them to be cheated out of the election, as a lot of people are saying right now, or believing that there's no way, at the very least, he could have lost Pinewood, right?
Right.
So that's where it was coming off. And then Doc said, well, this is why I didn't vote for him. It's because I felt as though his campaign was based on hate and fear. And what he said at the end, he said he would never, ever have my support if, this is what stood out to me. This is why I felt as though I captured the entire essence in the clip. If that is his position, then I won't support him. So Mr. Bain now, in his nobility and his wisdom, decided that, okay, there may be, he agrees, which is the point. He agrees. Obviously, there are some people that may have misunderstood what I was trying to do with my campaign.
Right.
So let me speak to them, because if he is the winner in the next election in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
and he becomes the leader of the country, he is going to be the prime minister of all Bahamians, even the ones the organic Bahamians don't like. So yeah, but let me. Dr. Bazard is in the building, y'all.
Finally,
Let me see.
he just moved his viral tour, y'all. He's finally here.
He's done with hair and makeup, and he wants to.
What up, Doc?
My makeup person was late. Sorry about that. My makeup person was running a little late. And my apologies.
No worries.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
It's you, man. It's you. You, man. How we doing? How you? It's you, man.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
There you go.
Good.
I'm good.
There you go.
No, but good to see you guys, man. What's up,
Good
Bombers?
to see you too. Good to see you
you
too.
all.
And definitely wanted to address you the correct way, Dr.
Yeah.
Kent.
Well, thank you. I brought my black cup because I thought it was going to be on TikTok.
We are on TikTok. We're
We are on
streaming
TikTok.
on
The
TikTok,
black cup.
Instagram,
Yeah,
Facebook,
That was smart.
yeah,
and
brought the black
Instagram,
cup.
as well as all of,
orange juice,
Agua.
as well as Mr. Bain's platforms as well. And I shout out to him.
Definitely don't want to get him banned from TikTok for no reason.
No.
Yeah. Keep I don't think he's streaming to his TikTok though. His YouTube channels and the COI's YouTube channels and his personal Facebook page. And if you're not following any of these pages at this time, especially the page that you're watching this live on at this moment, make sure you follow the page, make sure you share the live. Mr. Bain will be with us at 7:15. Every conversation I've had with him thus far, he has proven to be a man on time. And very astute. I even learned some things. I never even knew we had the ability to allow guests to stream to their platforms directly.
Yes. I saw that pop up today.
So yeah, so you know, the man is very knowledgeable.
Let me see.
And his bio is a very good read. So those of you that are watching and don't know anything about Lincoln Bean, y'all want to go to coalitionofindependence.com. and see if you can find his bio. Very, very interesting. But Doc, Dr. Kent Bazard, we've been doing this show now for a few years. A lot of people don't know. And we've often talked about, you know, which moment was going to be the moment at which our voices would be recognized and heard. And that moment came with the two of us getting raggy by some dude.
No, man, it was a bunch of nice.
Not raggy.
Raggy. Raggy.
My fellow
No.
Bahamian who I defend all the time, things and drag me through the mud, eh?
No. Listen, pause for the cause. What up, man?
I can't remember ghetto something. I mean, I can't. Mikey. I did speak to him like offline, so I don't want to disrespect. Do it. I just can't remember this time. But yeah,
but it was on one. It was quite a few people.
Yeah, it was quite a few man in the comments. But I'm talking about the video. The video that I showed that speak up Muhammad share.
I don't know his name.
Yeah,
he was a little ill-informed though. He thought I was a guest on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say like people
Yeah,
don't really.
and that's good. So people get to know who we are and what we do, and
We run the
that's
show.
that's
We ain't
fun.
yes, we run the show, nigga. We run the show.
Period. Period. Oh my
For
God.
the people that are for the people that are I'm watching now though, Doc, if you want to get into your explanation as to well,
Why am I
first of all,
trying to play with this to see if this could connect for me?
first of
Listen,
all,
talk to
what
yourself offline, please.
I talking to you, JP.
All right,
what
that's fine.
what made you expand on what made you feel as though it was a campaign of fear and of hate and fear?
Okay, so here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's not. I'm not trying to say that the demand was Hitler or that the party. People made it sound like I was saying he's some type of evil person. Uh, and specifically, I wasn't even referring to this particular campaign. It's the campaign overall. The message overall of the group has always been, in my humble opinion, when it comes to this topic matter, it has always been hate directed towards a specific group of
Mm-hmm.
people. And
Hmm.
and like I said to somebody in the comments, I said, just read the comments. Just read what your colleagues and your co supporters are saying and how they're saying it. And it's not even about what you're saying. You can have any opinion you want, but everybody should be treated with decency and respect.
Yeah.
True.
And like we said before, somebody incorrectly said that we are a very biased show. I found that a little offensive because this we don't agree on the show. We argue every single week on the show.
I
Every
telling you.
single week we argue. All four of us will have four different points and we arguing on the show.
Mm-hmm.
In between
Right?
the week too.
Now once in the blue moon when the stars are aligned and the sun is at its meridian, and one may agree.
Yeah, every blue moon.
Right?
Aquaman.
But
Aquaman.
otherwise we fighting every week. This
For
platform.
real.
I'm sorry, I don't want to get away from the question, but I just want to make this point. And if I may say so, Dyson, because this is originally Dyson's show, and we are all his co-hosts, right? But
Oh,
Correct.
this platform is not
oh,
owned or controlled or endorsed by any particular political party.
Correct.
hmm
No.
We are not trying to promote any type of ideology or party. We don't wear the gangster colors. We don't do the gang signs.
No.
We don't do none of that stuff. As far as the coalition of independence, the four people on this page right here is a coalition of independents, independent thinking people, independent
Truly.
speaking people. All right, and we will call out whatever we feel like calling out.
so anybody could get it.
Based,
And
based
basically
on
what you said,
right.
anybody could get it.
I will talk. I
I
will
couldn't
talk
take it
about.
no more.
I will call. I reserve the right to make any positive or negative comment in the same sentence about anybody that I choose to. It's as simple. It's as simple as that. And
Simple
so
as that.
again, and so again,
Yeah.
um, we can have a discussion. We can have debate. We can have positions without being disrespectful, without being nasty,
Absolutely.
and without being and by having respect for your fellow human being. You know. So
hmm
that is the thing. That is the thing that we've lost, I think, a bit in our at least in this, so it seems, in our political sphere, to be able to have independent thought and an intelligent discussion without calling names and being
hmm
nasty and acting like you had no brought up seat.
Well, you know that I I'm a one that believes that government, the leadership is a reflection of the people. Like you elect people who you believe carry your ideals. Um, I saw a comment just now. This one from Father Vante said, "Well, that person who said that he would never support Lincoln Bain, it's no problem because medals don't vote." And if you don't want to support or vote for the COI, there's a lot more people that will vote and support. And that sounds reasonable. Then he goes on to say, the COI one monkey don't stop no show.
Mhm.
Like,
Who's the monkey?
I, I guess I'm the monkey.
That's you, boy.
I mean, no, I guess you're not. I guess you're not the monkey because I
Oh,
mean,
orangutan, orangutan.
you're not the one that's using that kind of
I
language.
mean, I know my head is big. I'm having a hard time trying to fit my head in the camera here.
Super big,
So, so
super big.
it could be related to some type of monkey.
You ain't
But
just big, super big, boy, super.
I like this comment here, Doc. Question. So you don't think the PLP and F&M govern with hatred and fear? They victimized Bahamians so much. I lost it. Victimized so much that more are afraid to speak publicly out against them. You don't think what I mean, I know
I
you
don't think
voted.
I don't think their campaign is based on that. Maybe they have. I've heard that
Mhm.
certain of their members feel intimidated to say things. That's in all parties, or at least the two major ones. Certain junior members, especially, feel intimidated sometimes, not to speak up or being victimized for speaking up. Um, it's risky when you speak your mind. When you speak your mind,
Mm.
especially the Bahamians, they can drag you across the internet at the very least. So,
Mhm.
no, but I'm saying that's a joke. Enough of that joke. But speaking up, you have to be brave to speak up. You got to be brave, and I mean that. I mean pun intended. So, so,
Yeah.
so,
But I,
so
I thought Dr. Kent said if.
That's what I wanted. That's why I played the clip. I was like, a lot of people don't must not have heard the end. Like that's another thing. You have to listen to the
Yeah.
entire story. Like listen to everything
Mm.
a
right.
person has to say. Because
Right.
at the end, like when I edited the clip, I edited it so that it captured the full
Dyson, it's
concept.
your fault. It's your fault, Dyson.
Yes, it
You,
Put
is
that,
you,
my fault.
hey, put
it's
that comment back
Dyson's
up.
fault.
Put that comment back up.
Yeah,
Listen,
it's how he do the clip
It's
put that
Dyson's
comment
fault.
because
back up, bro. I could
It's
already, I
from
could already, I could already sense negative energy from at least two of you
two of
hosts. So hold on. Okay, two, whoever it may be, right? So being entertaining, right? Because after all, this is a show. So being entertaining and not aligned with what you think we should say, that equals negativity. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. Like Dr. Kent Bazard said earlier before he came on, right? We hold no allegiance to no party. This is a show. We're not we're not
yeah.
we're not we're not, we're not here to talk down on the COI, the PLP, or the
Yeah,
F&M. This is a
uh,
show.
JP,
Get out your
they
feelings.
I understand
Get get your boy. Get
people
your
are just
boy.
Get
becoming
your boy,
aware of
man.
our
Get your
show.
boy, man.
Hey, people are just becoming aware of the show. We've been doing this for 3 years, like Dyson said. We have talked about before she passed.
everything.
We've talked about the Queen. We talked
Diddy.
about the Queen. We talked about Diddy. We've
You
talked about Brave. I've made some comments about Brave.
Truly.
Okay, we've
everything.
talked
Yes.
about. I don't know much.
Everything.
I don't know
Holiday.
much about Pintard, so I can't say much. But Dr. Menace certainly is be ringing every time I call his name. I've talked about Dr. Menace many times. So to say that we're biased or whatever, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know.
But wait,
So let's
remember
start.
when we tried to talk about Rick and the whole show gets shut down?
Yeah, we try to talk about Red Fox, and we get canceled. We get canceled trying to talk about Red Fox. We
Oh
get canceled.
gosh.
Hey, we
Well,
have another 15 minutes. We have another 15 minutes before Mr. Bain joins the live. I just wanted to speak to specifically to our TikTok audience. I
Okay.
saw some people trying to get on. I
Hmm.
apologize because the way the show is formatted today, we're not going directly to TikTok. So if I were to bring you on in the live, my guest won't be able to hear what you're saying. I'll be the only person who'll be able to hear what you're saying.
Hmm.
So we're not gonna be bringing in people from TikTok today, but like the doc just said, we are live every Sunday from 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hmm.
And we will be welcoming those. I had a very good conversation with one of the person that just tried to come on board, Flower Gun from Grand Bahama. Big up yourself,
Oh
Flower Gun. He is
yes.
he
That
is
was
the
good.
COI. Yeah, with me and Ants.
Yeah.
Um, I will try to recall some of your sentiment, Flower Gun, and share them on the show. today, but I won't be able to bring people on from TikTok. But you will. I'm just streaming it to TikTok so that you can see and hear what Mr. Bain and Dr. Ken Bazard has to say. Um,
And with that flower guy, one thing I respect about him is when he first came on, he came on guns blazing. Like his energy was on 10. But we were able to have a really good conversation with him. I was able to understand his perspective and, through his experiences and so the conversation ended up being a very good one.
There you go.
Hmm.
You see what happens when you calm down and just talk? Straight like that. Just calm down.
I wish. Hey, you know what? Oh no, I can't do it that way. Anyway, I wish I
How
could
long? How
bring.
long we been on? I mean, like, what kind of energy? What kind of energy are we giving, guys? Like, what is this?
Negative. Negative
Annoying
energy.
and arrogant.
Negative. And negative.
Annoying and arrogant. But you know what? I'm cool with it because I understand these people are very defensive
Yeah.
of Mr. Bain, and this is a very sensitive time for COI supporters
Bro, I think that's not
because
unique. That's not unique. Everybody's defensive of their party leader. You can't talk with nobody party leader.
but not
My thing is,
not every
my thing
party
is,
feels as though they have been cheated out of an election.
Mm.
mm,
So it
okay.
may be more of a touchy subject for them.
It is very touchy for
Yeah.
COI
Yeah.
supporters. Like,
Right.
But this is my point, I'm gonna. I hope hopefully I can repeat this when Mr. Bain comes back on.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
But I've said this earlier, maybe last year, bro. At one time we talked about we had another political conversation, and I said that it is extremely essential for us to have a very strong third party. It's
Yeah,
extremely essential.
you did say that.
Two parties is a monopoly, even though mono means one. It means you only have one choice. Man, there's two parties. It's either
You're not
that
enough.
or
Yeah.
this.
Right.
That's it. You need a very strong third party. And the reason why I think this discussion and this interview, I think, is going to be very important because I think a lot of people who probably have never heard Mr. Bain talk before are going to hear him talk.
Right.
Yep.
I have some specific questions I want to ask that have nothing to do with immigration that I would like to know what his thoughts are on, so that we can have. I, bro, I mean, I don't mean to sound corny, but I wish the party well. I want the party to grow. At the
Listen.
bottom part, me and my wife was just talking. Sorry, Hans. Me and my wife was just
No, you
talking.
good.
Me and me and my wife was just talking. We were hoping that he won his seat.
Same. We were too.
We
Mhm.
need
We
that
was
kind of
watching it.
that kind of disruption and whatever it is
Yes.
in the house. Because whoever doing whatever, he ain't cool. I am not happy with the wigs. I'm not happy with it, bro. I'm not happy. Do you all know about the thing with the wigs?
the wigs. You
Yeah,
mean like
they
You
wigs?
mean
decreased the duty. They decreased duty on wigs.
so what?
I saw that. I thought that was a joke. I thought
Wait a
that.
minute,
That's
wait a
not a
minute, wait a
joke.
minute.
Oh
That's
my
not a
goodness!
joke.
No, not that it's a joke to be wearing wigs, right? Because I
No,
understand. I did some work with Susan G. Coleman, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
the Cancer Society. You know, we have a lot of people that are going through being well, you're a doctor, you know about the cancer epidemic in the Caribbean, especially amongst.
that's different.
Wait, but are you
I always
referring
trying
to
to
the
give a
wigs
good
days
reason to
It
things
wigs?
that's
said
happening.
weave products, extensions, and what else now? There's some verbiage. I'm sure Mr. Bain has all the verbiage,
Wait, so do you
right?
think the duty was decreased because there's wear wigs in no, now I watch it.
That was a statement. This
Say
is
it. I dare
from what
you.
I saw. It was just a post that I
I
saw.
dare you to say that, Hans. I
You
dare you
stop
to
that right
complete
there.
that
You stop
sentence.
that right there.
Let me see it. Because I see
You can
exactly what
you
they
can
talking
go
about
viral.
now
You
when
can
they
go
say
viral.
arrogant.
You stop right
Arrogant
there.
is an understatement. Say it. I
Wait.
dare you to say it.
So you mean to tell me no man, that can't be right. They lower the duty on wigs.
Why do you
I
think
hope I
why again
hope
do you think they did?
I hope it's because of the reason Dyson was given.
No, you want to hear your
Because
reason. You want to
I
hear
I
your
would
have
reason.
a reason,
I
like
would
this is intriguing to me. I mean,
it's probably best you say it than one of us though.
Yeah. Because you don't want to hear what I got to say.
but I'm
She too
asking.
smart to say it.
No, I'm asking. Are y'all saying that the
Mm-hmm.
Bahamian government decreased duty on wigs
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Because
because of
why?
the little white curl upset on the two side and the set what is they as
All right,
well.
what the hell? All right, what the hell are you talking about now?
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
don't they wear wigs? Like what they's
Hmm.
doing
Oh,
in
you mean like the lawyers and the judges?
The
yes,
Supreme Court people.
yes.
You talking about right?
I don't know about the reason.
All right,
What I
Or,
saw was just a
or
very
see, or
short.
it might be somebody's sweetheart got a wigs business because I mean, if no, because man, because I hope that ain't the reason. But guess what? If that is the reason, then the girls get to get their wigs and stuff for a little less duty.
Okay, so that first of all, if that is the reason, that's very sexist. That's very sexist, and that's the reason because that only
and we
affects
and we are not
women.
sexist on this show.
Only women benefit from
It's
that.
only for special users like persons with alopecia and cancer.
Okay, now
No,
I'm
that's
happy
what
that
I
Ah,
was
that's
going
the
to say.
reason.
That is what
Very
the
good.
verbiage.
Great.
That is what the verbiage says. It says
Okay,
alopecia
good.
and said. However,
Uh-huh.
the products they listed are not exclusively for that reason.
Hmm?
because
The
I'm like
products
this
they
person
listed
right
are not
here.
exclusively
Like
for that reason.
Lucky Gambino, this dude laughing his head off, and I agree because I
So,
figuring like
so
that was a big snap. Oh, sorry, go ahead, talk. My
and
bad.
where did this alopecia pandemic or endemic, whatever, demic in the Bahamas come from?
What you
Where did it
mean,
come
you
from?
bald, Dr. Kent? That's alopecia?
Hey.
That's what that is?
Hey,
Wait,
hey.
like, that's
I
what
am bald.
that is.
You are bald,
Hold
sir.
on. I'm not trying
You're
to
bald, sir.
acquire hair.
So you
Okay,
don't. So you don't want. So you
But
trying to
you
say you
I
try,
don't
am
want
no,
bald by
a
it ain't
choice.
percentage
just
off on
that
your wigs.
though.
I am
we
bald
bald,
by choice.
we bald by choice, you know.
My hair right here where it's supposed to be.
Hello,
I
So
am
we
what
bald
about,
bald
by
by choice,
choice.
but
man.
what about the top? The top still is
I don't
coming
have no
too?
Hey,
bald spot, none.
bald by
No bald
choice.
spot. Yeah.
I am
By
Hold on,
choice,
you
But
no
gotta
bald.
turn to the side.
No,
You see right there, look little thinny now.
I am
what?
gonna
no,
kick the
Right
two
there.
hands.
I got nothing.
Should we
no,
kick
no,
them
no.
off the show for
We
lying?
bald by
I
choice,
do
man.
I think
I
so.
got nothing.
We trying to have an honest show
Yes, we are.
today. We are not trying to swing the beam
I can't
on our
believe I
viewers.
have to
This is
show
going to
you
be an
going about.
honest show.
Unbelievable.
Hey, C. Allen is popping off in on this TikTok
For what? What
channel.
are you saying? What are you saying?
I'm gathering that he doesn't care too much for the COI. Let me see. Challenge the
All
C.
right.
This is the last comment. Challenge the COI on the very idea they pirate and patrol from you as being
Mhm.
badly expressed, and they would attack you as hating them. So anytime you challenge them, they turn the conversation into an all-out attack, which is kind of what they did to you, Doc.
Well, let me look at
Yeah.
the comments. Let's see if that's what happening right now. Because maybe that
Yeah.
person is wrong.
I
Uh,
can't on TikTok at the moment.
C.
But
Allen has used a lot of big words, man. It's
yeah,
something.
see, he makes a lot of political posts. He's really in there, man.
Yeah, yeah.
He's consistent with his political stuff.
Send me to my dictionary. I don't think it's epidemic. It's just people are not aware until they have to do it.
No,
Okay.
no. The problem isn't the move. You know, it's
Low
not the problem.
vibration
That's not the problem.
humans.
What is this?
The problem is we have more important things, right, to worry about at this particular moment. Can you listen to me? What he's saying
They
now?
can
I can't
talk.
hear.
They can talk shit and condemn others. But this is a
You can't
shit
talk
country.
about
Okay,
the
too
ground.
many to read.
All right, no problem. That's fine. Low
That's
vibrational.
No, no, no.
You must just learn that word. They just learn that word, man. Low
No.
vibrational.
But
That's
this is obviously one of those trolling
yeah, that's
whatever.
fine. That's fine.
profiles.
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
breaking
fine. That's
news
fine.
because he says
Yeah,
low vibration and then he goes straight into the gutter at the tail end of this comment.
yeah,
Ain't nobody care what you gotta say, but ain't nobody care.
But
And
wait,
and
but
good news. Good
uh-huh.
news. Hold on. Pause,
Okay.
everybody. Pause the
Okay.
ship.
All right.
Mr. Lincoln Bain has just entered backstage.
Very good.
Nice.
So now
At
we
this
can be
point in time,
educated because I want to know the things.
yeah, at this point in time, I am going to introduce Mr. Bain before I bring him on. Let me just make sure he's all set up backstage.
Low vibration. Can't you low vibrational, bro? I don't know what's wrong with you.
low vibration. You never been called low vibration. That's a new one.
I've
Yeah,
never
I'm
been
gonna
called
give
a
him. I'm
liar.
gonna give him a few minutes. I think we still have 5 minutes before he comes on.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
let's
sure what
just
low
give him a couple of minutes
vibration
before.
means. But anyway, the point we were making was just continue with our conversation. The point I was making was the decrease of the duty for those
Mhm.
hair products. I'm not
Mhm.
saying if there is problems, there may be absolutely patients that need these things. First of all,
Absolutely,
there needs
yes.
to be some procedure so that only those patients would benefit from the tax break. Number one. Number two, um, there are also other things that need to be addressed that are extremely significant, way more important than that. I'm talking about a prioritization list. Like you remember when the F&M in the administration, two administrations before that, said they made helicopters duty free. Everybody remember that?
I
What
do
it was?
remember that helicopters.
See, I
Okay.
don't forget these things. Do you remember they made helicopters duty free?
Helicopter. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, for
And
the Bahamian people.
do you remember this thing? People are not going to talk about that show, but we talked about them bias for that. What was the point? Who was a helicopter trying to bring it in? It's
Right.
only going to benefit a minority of people. So what is the point? Why push it so hard? What is the reason?
I
Mm.
tried my
Does it
best
make
to
any
get my
sense?
helicopter, but the cookout didn't go so well.
Yeah, but
So
after that, the helicopter business appeared downtown, didn't it?
it did.
It did.
It did.
You know. So again,
Hmm.
it's very important to have more than two choices. It's
Fix your face,
extremely
huh?
important.
It is.
Wow. All right. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Lincoln Bain is backstage, presently backstage. We promised him at 7:15. I told you the man is always on time. I
Mhm.
will be giving a brief introduction of Mr. Bain. But if you want to know more about him, which I believe everybody should, because even though I thought I knew him, I learned a whole lot from his bio and some things that I actually want to talk to him on a personal level because of his expertise. So I'm looking forward to this show and to whatever comes after. I can't believe they read a comment from C. Allen Junction, someone who was pushing a troll. Yeah, well, see, okay, here, I'll save it for my introduction. No, I'll say it now. We don't know everything, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why we have this show, the reason why there are four co-hosts, is because we bounce things off of each other, and we try our best to get people to expand on their ability to have conversations, to converse towards an understanding. We're not an agreement, an
Mhm.
understanding. We never agree on this show.
Sure don't.
Sure
You see what
don't.
I'm saying? We never agree on this show.
No.
And and we
Sure,
don't
sure
expect for
don't.
everybody to agree, but we want people to be able to understand and to be able to stomach a full
Oh my.
conversation.
Right. People
We
got a lot of
I'm going to
feelings.
start name calling before the points are
Huh?
even understood.
Feelings, man. Feelings. Jeez. So it's
All
just
right.
full of
So
feelings.
all right. We're just a minute away from bringing Mr. Bain on, and I can see that he is already prepared
Mhm.
backstage. So let me run his introduction. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our guest is the most talked about politician since Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinland. He is an ambitious entrepreneur who has studied life under the wing of Miles Monroe OBE. He has traveled the world and has given much of his life to the upliftment of Bahamian people. He is one of the first to form investment trips to China for Bahamians and has shared his knowledge of financial proficiency internationally as a sought after keynote speaker. He has led the Coalition of Independence, the COI, in the most exciting and challenging race ever against the yin and yang of Bahamian political parties, the PLP and the FNM, and has solidified the validity of his party as a viable option of leadership of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. However, his controversial loss has perplexed many. Initial polls gave him a comfortable lead, and then, as if assisted by an enhancement drug or a magic wand, the race for Pinewood left Bain with an awkward second place. We're going to have a Sup'M Show style conversation tonight where we keep the discussion elevated, honest, and sensibility driven without taking ourselves too seriously. We only know enough to know that we don't know much at all. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage the one, the only Lincoln Bain. Let me put you up where you could be seeing Lincoln. I got you.
Hello.
Let me just change this outline right here.
Adjust
Find
your camera a little bit.
Find a cast where you can be seen
There you
perfectly.
are.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right, you don't have to do no shifting. I got you, my brother.
Welcome.
Welcome.
What's going on?
Let me hear your voice, Lincoln. Make sure I got you.
Well, I am here. Make sure you can hear me. You should be able to.
Yes.
I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly fine. Just a little bit low, but I think this will work. All right. So
Okay.
so Lincoln Bain, first of all, congratulations on making history.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is very impressive, and I am very proud of you and the party and the Bahamian people. I did not think the people were ready to make such a display. I honestly did not.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the Bahamian people, and it shows that finally, throughout history, that a foundation has been made for people to actually make a shift from the old parties that have been failing us for all these years. But before I get to that, I just want to say to you, I know two of you on here. I know you and Dr. Bazard. I just want to say that I'm very impressed and proud of all that you've been able to accomplish as Bahamians, and yes, as Bahamians, and I'm very proud of you. Continue to do what you're doing and making the Bahamas proud with everything you're doing. I know Mr. Bazard's mother was Cheryl Bazard, if I'm correct, and she contributed greatly to the culture.
Patricia
Say again?
Bazard.
Yeah, Patricia.
Yeah, Patricia Bazard. I don't know why I said that. Sorry about that. But Patricia Bazard, she contributed greatly to the culture of our country. She kept it alive and kept it going. I know I was a part of those choirs when I was a kid that benefited from her expertise, and she helped me to grow up. She's one of the persons, along with Dr. Edward Robinson. She would always work along with him while I was a part of E.P. Roberts Choir that traveled the world, actually. And she was one of those persons that was always an inspiration and always there to lend a helping hand and inspire us along the way. And so I just wanted to give credence to her and honor to her before we get started with this. On behalf of you, Dr. Bazard.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Appreciate that, Mr. Bain. So let's jump into exactly what caused this this show to take place. It was a clip that I posted to the Sup'M Show's page. Let me see if I can run this again for us to watch in real time.
When you start to base your entire campaign on hatred and fear, you're never going to win an election doing that. Because according to him and his people, I'm not Bahamian. And my children are Bahamian. My mother who represents this country all over the world. Me who represent this country in Russia, Suriname, China, Japan. I'm not a Bahamian. My daughter who just won 6 gold medals representing the country is not a Bahamian according to him. So you will never have my support. Like never, ever, ever have my support if that's your position.
And that what was said. Watching that again, I'll start with Mr. Bain. How did that make you feel?
No way. Whenever you stand for something and you want to get things right in your country, you're normally misunderstood, and that's throughout history. You know, Martin Luther King was misunderstood, Malcolm X was, Jesus was, you know, Moses was. Anytime you want to make change, you get misunderstood, and it takes time for people to understand when someone wants to make change is going to benefit the country. And so it didn't make me feel any way. I've been doing this for so long that I don't get emotional about these things at all. It's good conversation. And I believe that we need to have conversations about these things. And that's what I told you when we first spoke, that we need to have these conversations. So I'm glad that that conversation came up. I don't understand why Dr. Bazard felt that he is not a Bahamian. I'm not sure why that is. And I would like to start with asking him why he feels that he is not a Bahamian.
Oh, I absolutely feel like I'm a Bahamian. I know I'm a Bahamian. But where that came about, let me tell the whole history. And I don't want to take too long. But you yourself, Mr. Bain, and I are in the same WhatsApp. You're probably in many WhatsApp groups, but there's a WhatsApp group that's kind of a political group that was created by probably a colleague of ours, Mr. Miller, uh, TV show host, really funny guy. He added a bunch of persons who were on his show, including multiple persons who were running for office at the time. That would have been the first election or the first campaign of Dr. Minnis, right before his election. We were added to that group. And I usually just, I didn't think I was a part of or needed to be in the group at all. There was a conversation. Um, Yourself and some of your I'm not gonna call her any, but it's a higher ranking young lady who's in your party, or who at least at the time was an organizer in the party or a very outspoken supporter. And of course, even Mr. C. Allen, who just commented, is in that group, and a few other persons. The term came up of organic Bahamian. And I find this term a very divisive term. I'm not sure what it is meant to mean, but when I asked in the group, and that's probably the first time I ever said anything, I said, "Excuse me, I just wanted to know, what is an organic Bahamian?" And the response was, an organic Bahamian is someone born in the Bahamas to a Bahamian mother and a Bahamian father. I do not have a Bahamian father. And my children are also have one Bahamian parent. So what I said, and I won't go too much into detail in the conversation of what we said, but what I said was, I think it's divisive speech. As a matter of fact, it's very hateful to be calling persons, or to be dividing, making a clear distinction between this Bahamian and that Bahamian. It's either you're Bahamian or you're not a Bahamian. And at the same time, what was not put in the clip, and again, I blame Dyson earlier for that, we get me throw under the bus and raggy all over Facebook. What he did not put in the clip is that what I said a few minutes before that was, if you're in the country illegally, you're a criminal. I was very clear about that. So I do not support illegal immigration in any form by anybody. But this campaign is, sorry, not I don't want to say this campaign. I want to say campaign, not just your 2026 campaign, but the message, if not from yourself, from a lot of your supporters. And you just read the comments in the that's underneath that post on Facebook, and you'll see the hatred that comes from these persons, and it's directed towards one group of Black people, just one. It's not direct. You don't hear the same thing about the other, may I say, non-organic Bahamians who are not of that lineage, who are not from that country. You don't hear about the non-organic Bahamians who have an American parent, or who have a British parent, or who have a Russian parent. You don't hear anything about those. All the animosity, all the negativity, all the whatever accusations and etc. are directed towards a specific group of people, and it's reinforced over and over, and it's repeated over and over. And I really think it does us a disservice as a country in general, and that includes Bahamians and the residents, when we create a divide like that. And the world is actually going to look at us and see how we treat these people. They're going to judge us whether we care or not, they're going to judge us about how on how we treat these people, what we do with our situation. So it's very important to approach it carefully and not to approach it with vulgarness and non-professionalism, in my humble opinion.
Okay, so before you respond to that, Mr. Bain, I just want to remind people to make sure that you're following the pages you're watching this on. Make sure you share the live so we can get the message out. It is indeed an important enough conversation that Mr. Bain has taken time out of his busy, even changed his schedule to be on the show with us tonight. So make sure as many people are getting this message as possible. Mr. Bain.
Awesome. I hear your sentiments, and I think that we're actually on the exact same page. I haven't heard anything different in terms of our sentiments and our beliefs, except for I see where the misunderstanding is. And normally, when you have these kinds of disagreement, the first thing you should look for is a misunderstanding, and that's why people should reach out to people, and you should have these kind of discussions, because then you'll quickly understand each other better, instead of just coming to a conclusion based on what you might have heard or thought you might have heard or misunderstood. And then sometimes your reaching out to someone could cause them to realize that their understanding is wrong, or what they're thinking is wrong, and you may be able to transform that person. But in this case, I see that we agree on everything. Our campaign has been about illegal immigration. It has not been about hatred for anyone. Firstly, I will start here. On a definition of organic Bahamian, I don't think there's a problem with identifying natural born Bahamian. Every country has those definitions, especially Haiti. Haiti has a definition called a Haitian of origin, and that's their term for organic Haitian. And so that's why persons who are of Haitian descent or who were born in Haiti, like Wyclef John, could not run for president in Haiti because he was no longer a part of the Haitian community, and they considered him as something different. That's their classification in their constitution. In order to run for anything in their country or hold any government office, you have to be one, a Haitian of origin. This is in their constitution, a Haitian of origin. Okay, you have to be living in Haiti, and you have to own land and a business in Haiti for senior positions like president, etc. But other positions, you just have to own land. And so they define who can do what in their country. And so their law protects their sovereignty, protects protects who they are as a people. So why is it that we shouldn't be able to do the same? Now, Haitian of origin is their definition. But when we come with this thing, which is not a legal definition, called organic Bahamian, that's just a term that we use to endear who we are. My brother, you are an organic Bahamian. The definition of organic Bahamian, and we've been saying this for years, and people don't listen. I don't understand how people don't hear this. We believe, and I've said this over and over, and you can search my Facebook timeline, and you'll see several times we put what we feel is our definition there. It is a person born inside or outside of the Bahamas, one of whose parents is a Bahamian. All right? One of. And I heard you said whose mother and father is. That's not what we said at any point. One of whom's parent is a Bahamian. And why I say that, and there's people who don't agree with me with that, because there's some people who have some extreme beliefs on that. But that's my belief. And why we believe that is because, for example, back in the day, a queen of England might want to find a husband, and they might go for economic reasons. They might go to France and find a husband in France, and they might marry a duke or a prince from France. That person is not English, but they bring him back to England, and he marries the queen, for example, and then they have a child. Who's going to say that that child is not British? That child is not English. And so I believe that we are royalty as Bahamians, and we should be treated like royalty. And that if we are Bahamians, then we can pass on our citizenship to other persons. That's what I believe. And that is what I see as the definition of organic Bahamian. It means by some organic means, your parents, one of your parents is a Bahamian. And that's what I've been pushing all this time. But people, I guess, don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear political rhetoric. And so there are people who say we hate Haitians, for example. We
Mm.
don't hate Haitians. And sometimes it bothers me to have to say it. And I say it when I'm saying it. Every time I talk about this issue, I have to say, I don't hate Haitians. When the news is interviewing me, I have to say it. I said we are against illegal immigration and corruption of the politicians who take advantage of these people to make money off of them for their benefit. I
Right.
always make that abundantly clear. I want to say this to you, to all of you who are on here listening, and to all of the 1,300 persons or 1,400 watching around the world right now. Um, when Haiti had their earthquake, me, I was not a politician. I was not looking to run in 2010. I was a Bahamian who loved helping other people and loved giving back.
Mm.
When they had their
Mhm.
earthquake, Hubert Alexander Ingram said that the Bahamas was not going to help Haiti, even though we have close ties to Haiti. He said because America has taken over the airport and they have taken control of the situation and they are not letting people come in. They've even turned back the prime minister of Barbados. You might remember that. I, as a regular citizen in this country with no position, said that is unacceptable. And I came together with another person. We got a plane. We put supplies in there, food, medical supplies, etc. And we called the U.S. Army and said, "Listen, you don't own that airport. We are coming to bring help. Those people need aid, and we are coming to help them." And then America said, "Hey, come on down. We need all the help we can get." We were like, "Wow, what was Ingram talking about?" And so we
Hmm.
filled the plane. It was a big plane, a jet. We filled the
Mhm.
plane with supplies. That's a lot of money. And we took the supplies down to Haiti, landed, distributed the stuff, jumped back on the plane, and came back. America said all they wanted, because there's no flight tower, was to have people come on a schedule. They just wanted you to not just show up when other people might be trying to land. Because of us, Kiwanis and other organizations that wanted to bring stuff but didn't know how, they were able to find out that they could do stuff. And they started, organizations like that started taking 10 plane loads of supplies every single day because of the leadership I showed. You don't do that kind of stuff for people you hate. I just want to
Right.
make that clear. Now, this kind of
Mhm.
stuff don't make news. Negative stuff makes news.
Of
All right. If
course.
I do something or say something that people don't like, that can make the news. But good stuff you do doesn't make the news. Although that did make the news because ZNS was waiting for us when we came back, and they were like, "How is it that Hubert Ingram couldn't get supplies there, but Lincoln Bain was able to?" All
Right.
right. So I just wanted to make that clear. I don't hate anybody. I love all people. As a Christian, I must love all people. But God is a God of decency and order. And all we want is for you to come to our country the right way. We always say we want immigrants. People
Yeah.
have to come and work for us.
Right.
We can't do everything. We can't build the new Bahamas ourselves. We want persons to come and we just want you to come the right way. And I've also explained to persons that one of the reasons that this is important to me, I was a police officer. I became a police officer at 18 years old. And I saw some things that disturbed me. I saw that on Fridays there were people who would wait for the Haitian men to get paid and rob them. Because they were
Mhm.
illegal, they couldn't go and make a
Wow.
complaint to the police
Mhm.
because they were illegal. That's
Mm.
how they felt. And so they would take advantage of them. I hated that. There were women who were raped. And because they were illegal, they could not make a complaint in their minds because they were illegal. And so I hated that. And there were children being grown up in these shantytown conditions. They can't iron their clothes before they go to school. They come into school mashed up. They can't. It's more difficult for them to do their homework by candlelight than with electricity, etc. I don't think that humans should have to go through that. That children should have to go through that. That's a humanitarian crisis, and that's why I'm against shanty towns. But if persons come in the right way, and the politicians don't want them coming in the right way because they can't make money for themselves like that. And that's why this has been allowed to fester.
Mm.
We want persons to come here the right way to help us to build this country. That way, you can have a bank account, you can
Right.
have a driver's license and insurance on your car. So when you hit us, you don't jump out your car and break off running into the bush.
Mm.
We can know how many hospital beds we need. We can know how much license plates, etc., we need, how much classrooms we need, because we know what's going on in the country. The country has to be run properly. And
Yeah.
we are misunderstood because we are asking for things to be done properly. We are being told we hate people because we want them to be able to come to our country the right way and live with decency in our country. We have been completely misunderstood because the politicians, for political purposes, spread the message out there that, hey, they hate Haitians. Now, I'm not saying that there are not Bahamians who are xenophobic, but I have even said, if you are xenophobic, you're following the wrong person because I'm
Mm.
not xenophobic. All right. I've said that publicly, but people hear what they want to hear. I believe in the Bahamas where Bahamians are first and foremost, not only, but first, where all of the advantages goes to us, where you don't have Bahamians not able to get access to Crown land. 30,000 of them have applied for Crown land and not even
Mr.
gotten an
Bain,
answer. But you have Haitians, etc., taking over our land and taking advantage of the situation.
before we get
And
into
in
that
some
though,
instances, Bahamians renting to those persons too. But that's the
can you hear
situation. And
me?
some people say, why are you focusing on the Haitians? Aren't there other illegal immigrants? Yes, there is. Don't forget, it was us who exposed the Chinese that were in the Hilton Hotel, where the minister at the time called and deceived the director or assistant director to let those Chinese go. All right. We expose that because this is not about your race or your class or where you're from. This is about illegal immigration. We were
Mm.
the ones who were on top of that and made sure that that was dealt with and addressed and not swept under the rug. And we've done that on many occasions. Now, the problem we have with those persons from Haiti is that when you come to a country, and again, we don't hate nobody, and you start interfering in the country's politics, that's when it becomes a problem. None of us on this would be allowed to go to Haiti and interfere with their politics, nor participate in it in any way.
Give me 1 second, Mr. Bain.
Go ahead.
Before we get into that, I wanna ask, how is it that you, well, not just specifically you, because I'm sure I want to give respect to the entire team, but how is it that the COI is is planning to deal with illegal immigration as it stands right now in the country? What is the solution or idea of a solution that the COI has right now to correct the problem?
Great question. We don't have an illegal immigration problem. We have a corruption problem. That's the problem that we have as a country. Politicians are making money from this, and everyone you see come on the boats now on the planes, that's a customer. That's someone who paid thousands of dollars to get that first step, and then they have to pay money in order to get regularized, whether it's a visa first and then an extension on the visa, then a work permit, then residency. They are paying for this, and that's sometimes $8,000 to $10,000 for each step of the way. And so a lot of money is being made in that. That's bigger than the drug trade. That's bigger than the numbers business if you really do the
Mm,
math. And so
wow.
we're going to end the corruption to make sure that there's no room in immigration for that to happen. We saw that while the scandal was going on with Keith Bell, that persons gave us documents that we shared with the news. It was all over the news, so I can talk about it here, where a person said this was unlawful, but the minister made them do it. They make sure put that in writing. When, for example, someone was deported, and then after being deported, someone was told to give that person a work permit so that they could come back. The person was deported, all right, got the work permit after being deported, and also banned from the country because of actions they did in the country. And then the minister told the immigration officer, give them their work permit and let them come back. It normally comes from the top. And the fact that so many persons within immigration were willing to give us the information, and they gave the F&M information also, that this shows you that a lot of these people did not want this corruption happening in their country. That's the first thing. But the first thing we're going to do is make sure that they understand that coming here the right way has benefits. That means, again, like I said, you don't have to live underground. You can live
Right.
properly, be a
Mm-hmm.
part of society. All right, not live in a shanty town. When they go to Miami, they don't build a shanty town. When they go to France, they don't build a shanty town. Canada, No, no shantytown in Quebec. They go and they live in apartments and they live properly. All right. But our society, because they make money from it and benefit from it, allow them to live the way they were living. So we're gonna put certain things in place. So one, we plan on blockading uh Inagua. There's only two ways to come in. That's on the eastern part of Inagua or the western part of Inagua, passing it. And so if we have the proper radars and the proper boats, the fast boats, not those big boats they keep buying for $300 million and they break down instantly and have to wait to send them back to Europe to be fixed. We're going to make sure that we are able to man that and no one is going to get past that we don't give permission to get past. So it's going to be a total and complete blockade. We're going to make sure that a program is put in place so that persons realize that, listen, come here the right way and you're going to live properly. Then we're going to make sure they have illegal immigrants have nowhere to sleep and no way to eat. Illegal immigrants in our country. All right. If you come, sorry, we're going to target the landlords. We're going to put a database in place for everyone who applied to get a work permit. And we're going to make sure that if you are a landlord, before you rent to someone, you have to go on that database and see if their name is listed on that database. If their name is not in that database, you cannot rent to them. All right. And that now puts the onus on you because there's a database that you can check. And if you let them come in, it's your fault. Okay. And so they have to show you proper documentation or show you that they are, or you see them in our database and we will take the responsibility for that. All right. The same thing with employers. If someone is not in that database, you cannot employ them. It's simple as that. I've been in school in the US and I know how difficult it is to get a job, outside of the system. I'm not saying that there's no cracks in the system, but I know how difficult it is in a legitimate company. And so we're going to make sure that we do this thing properly. All right. There were persons who benefited.
Clarify. There's something I don't understand. There's something I don't understand, Mr. Bain. I just wanted for clarity in case I use this as a clip. But you're speaking now to the illegal immigrants
Only.
Only, and you're talking about a database that has who in it again?
The database will have the legal immigrants. So if you have a work permit or permission to be here and work, there will be a database that landlords or employers can go to, and they can do a search of your name, and it will tell you if that person has permission to be in this country. If they don't have permission to be in this country, then you can be sanctioned for allowing them to rent your place, etc.
Oh, so this would be regardless if they already have a passport and a work permit. Yes? Because they can get those, they can
say that again.
They can, to my understanding, and this is just what I've heard on the street. If they already have a passport and a work permit, and they attain those documents through nefarious avenues, right? They still wouldn't be on the list. So I'm saying, like, if you're renting to a person or giving a person a job and they can produce a passport and a work permit.
Well, they wouldn't need a work permit if they have a Bahamian passport.
Right. If they can provide some document to say that they are allowed to work or to reside in the Bahamas, but they are not on the list. You're saying that the person who is given the job and renting the place will be held responsible for giving them the job or the residence, even if they provided a passport or another document.
No, if they gave you some fraudulent document and you can show that there was fraud, then you're not at fault. All right. Okay. But that's why I started this part by saying that we are going to end the corruption at our immigration ministry. And so there will be no unlawful passports giving out in this country. It will be impossible because of how we're going to deal with it. You will not get any unlawful work permits in this country. It will not happen. It's happening now because persons are making money from it, and it's corruption. And that's why it has been happening. We are going to change that. And the penalties for doing that is going to be so stiff that no one is going to want to be the person to get hit with that. All right. We're going to treat that like a capital offense. We're going to treat that almost like treason when you give away our passports. there's going to be serious penalties for doing so. We're not playing with this because it could put your entire sovereignty at risk. And so we have to do that. I want people to understand how serious sovereignty is. People who are saying that we should just, love, for example, Haitians, Africans, Jamaicans, Chinese, whoever, let them come in. I want you to try to go to Haiti and not fill out your form properly for immigration and see what will happen to you. Not just not be straight, Don't fill out your form properly and see if you don't end up in jail. They take that seriously. Why is it that they can take it seriously, but we shouldn't take it seriously? You saw the other day, with all the chaos going there, they locked up some politicians for giving out fake Haitian passports. They jailed them as a serious offense. All we are saying is we want the country to operate properly. The people are saying that you hate someone because you want the country to run properly. That mindset is problematic for me. And so we're going to put certain things in place and end the corruption. And if you get caught, you're going to go to jail for a long time. And mostly what we saw at Immigration Department was persons were being forced to do things that they did not want to do. We have evidence of that. And we've already put out those documents where they actually wrote it on there. There's no space to write it. They just wrote it. This is unlawful, but the minister made me do it. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Now they're going to have, and once we become government, I'm taking on the fact that I'm going to be the Minister of Immigration as Prime Minister. And we're going to get that in order. This is not to go after any individuals, but it's to get our country back in order, man. Right. We can't be running out of classrooms. We can't be running out of medicine in the hospital because we don't know how much people is here. We can't be running out of beds. The hospital is telling you to bring your own pillow and sheets now from home.
Quick
country,
question.
we just need to, if we know that like America, Trump just said he's going to let 10,000 more people from South Africa come in. He put a number on that. He said 10,000 of those persons whose farms were taken away from them. He means the white South Africans, but I'm just giving you as an example. He's going to let 10,000 come in, all right, per year. So now they know 10,000 is coming in from here. This amount is coming in from Taiwan. This amount is coming in from here. And so now they know what they need to do. They can plan on how much roads they need to build because of how much people is going to come into a certain area. They're always expanding roads, etc., based on population predictions of increase. We have to run this country like a business moving forward. And that's what we are missing in this country. And it's our generation that has to do it. Our generation, that old generation, they were shooting from the hips. They don't act like professionals in these stuff like me and you would do. They're shooting from the hips. They're not planning a city. They're not thinking about the future. They're thinking about 5 years and winning the next election. But we have to, the immigration problem has to do with people dying in the hospital because there's not enough facilities and we can't repair that hospital fast enough because the load is too much, man.
JP, you had a question?
Yeah, quick question. As far as the job crisis goes in the Bahamas, right? Do you think the Bahamian people are prepared to step in the place of, let's just say, the immigrant people when they get out of the, when the jobs go away? Are you thinking the Bahamian people are prepared to step in place and take those jobs that the illegal immigrants are having right now?
I think they're willing to take some jobs, but not all of them. All right. But that's our prerogative to do so. This is our country.
Right.
All right.
Right.
We can decide if we want a job or if we don't want it. Now, for example, in Dubai, the population is 300,000 citizens, but the actual population is 3 million. And so they are outnumbered. All right. But there's no immigration problem there. Every citizen, basically, man, woman, and child, has a servant working for them. And so, no, they don't want to do certain jobs, but they don't have to. Right. What they are the owners. And we want to, I remember I started with royalty. We want to transform Bahamians into the owners of this society. Because once we're the owners, we're not competing for jobs anymore. We're going to be the ones opening the businesses. We're going to be the ones who are living our dreams. And we bring other people in to work for us. Immigration built America in that way, but they could do that because they own the country. You come in to work
Right.
for them. In Dubai, Bahamians go there and work for them, even pilots, etc. But you're working for them. And so the problem with the Bahamas is there's not enough access to capital so that we
Right.
can live our dreams. We can do the things that we were born to do. Everyone has a gift, and that gift is what they are good at. And so sometimes they say, "Oh, Bahamians are lazy or they don't do this stuff right," and but it's because they're just working a job because it's a job. There's no
Mm,
passion to it. They're not doing
Mm.
what they love, like
mm,
Dyson can do or other persons can do. Because Dyson had to really get opportunities from America, etc. They're not doing what they love. There was an experiment many years ago in Canada, I think it was Manitoba, and they gave what was probably equivalent to about $96,000 to each citizen of Manitoba, each resident in Manitoba. And the experiment was to see if persons got a universal basic income, if they would become more lazy, if they would do more drugs, if they would drink more, if they would quit their jobs. And that's what they wanted to see. There was an actual experiment in Canada. I think
Mm.
that was in the 70s, or early 70s, to see how this would work. And they saw the opposite happening. Because people had a cushion, and they had seed money, they started doing what they love. They started doing what they were born to do. They started doing what their gift was. All of us have a gift or have someone in our family who are so talented. We'll say, boy, I wish I had the money to open this business for this child. And so people started doing what they love. And so the whole state started doing better. And so that's the experiment that Dubai and Qatar and those kinds of countries and Norway looked at for what they wanted to do by empowering their citizens with their natural resources. And so by doing it, it's not to give away money, it's not an election ploy. It's
mm,
because the real development of a country doesn't come from politicians. It doesn't come from the 19 cabinet ministers, well, now it's 29. It doesn't come from a few cabinet ministers. It's supposed to come from the people. Nothing great in America came from the government. They didn't invent the car, they didn't invent the airplane, they didn't invent Facebook, social media. The great ideas come from the people, but they make sure that they have access to capital, which is something we don't have in the Bahamas. You put $60,000 on a loan for a car, you get it. You put
Yeah.
business on that same loan, you don't get it. And so we
Mm.
don't have access to capital. So the reason we're saying that we want our people to benefit from our carbon credits and our natural resources, which can be done, is
mhm,
because we want the money in your hands because you have the gifts and talents. And how do you know I'm genuine about this? I wrote a whole book about this, a bestseller. It's called Identity Crisis. I traveled the entire world giving speeches to people with doctorate degrees, to engineering schools, to colleges and universities about helping persons to live their purpose and how you find their purpose. One of the things keeping us from doing what we want to do in our country is we don't have access to capital. And they beat you down and they tell you go get a job. That's the Bahamian dream. To get
Yeah.
Give me the book.
go
Give
to
me the book title
college.
again.
Say
The book
again?
title again. The book title again.
It's called Identity Crisis. If you go to Amazon, searching Lincoln Bain is the easy way on Amazon, but it's Lincoln Bain Identity Crisis.
okay.
Because
Gotcha.
there's other books named Identity Crisis. So if you search Lincoln Bain on Amazon, that's the quickest way to get it. And you'll see the persons there saying it's the best book they ever read. That book
Mm,
transformed their life, etc., because it's about finding purpose. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this because I want to be prime minister or because I want to be political. I'm doing this because I believe that every Bahamian should live their dream. And this is what I've been
mm.
doing all my life. This is a genuine movement for me. I
I have a
want to
question,
empower
Mr. Bain.
Bahamians.
I have a genuine question, Mr. Bain.
Go ahead.
From what I hear you saying, I can tell that you love people and you love Bahamians, right?
Yeah.
And even the situation that you spoke of where when the earthquake happened in Haiti and you went over there just as a person, as a Christian, to go over and help these people. When it's your turn in the future, right? When these things that you speak of now are in place, does the Bahamas have room? Because we think in long term, right? Does the
Mhm.
Bahamas have room to have like an asylum program or something for our Haitian neighbors who are trying to come in the correct way, trying to get away from the turmoil that they may be dealing with? do you see the Bahamas having space for some sort of asylum thing like that for them?
The Bahamas has space whatever it needs. The Bahamas has 700 islands. The
Right.
problem is that all of them are underdeveloped. And one of the
Mm.
reasons is because we are depending on a few people to determine what happens on 700 islands and 2,000 keys. We
Yeah.
have more than enough room, but we have to develop properly. Canada
Mm.
and Trudeau just resigned because he screwed up the economy. He allowed persons, including Bahamians, to flood into Canada and did not build proper housing for them. They did not expand housing, and so housing
Mm.
became expensive and through the roof, and so it collapsed the entire economy, and it hurt everything. And so all they thought was short term, that the more people we bring in, the more taxes we can collect, and the more money businesses
Mm.
can make. Because if you're a barber shop and there's 100 people in your community, that's only possibly up to 100 hair you can cut. But if 1,000 people there, that gives you more hairs that you can cut. That's the
Mm-hmm.
economics, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Right.
one of the reasons for freeing the slaves. It wasn't about doing what's right. It was about economics. That why
Yep.
should you take care of these people when you can free them and start charging them for what they consume?
Facts.
Um, but uh, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and so now we want to build a new Bahamas. We want to build a Bahamas that persons can come home to. We have the good part about the fact that they exiled our Bahamian young people. For the last several decades, they've been telling our people to go get educated. Then when you go away, get educated and come back, they say you're overeducated. All right.
Tell
And
me
then
about it.
and then the but what it means that they say you're overqualified. But it's not that we're overqualified, it's that our country is underqualified. And we keep voting for that. You
Mm.
know, this vast election, all they talk about is potholes and clinics they could build, and it's
Every
not
time.
nothing about moving the country forward.
Right.
And so because they've exiled our young people, they have been able to go away and get experience. They are
Yeah.
working, they are building hospitals, they are in big positions in hospitals. They are in big companies all over the world, in Dubai, in America, in Europe. Bahamians are running things because wherever we go, we excel. That's how we
Period.
are as a people. That's why I'm so proud of Bahamians. But I just feel like we're like the Cinderella story. We get held
Mm.
down in our own country, but we're
Right.
so talented and gifted.
Yes.
And we see it when we go away. Bahamians always shine, no matter what it is. And so now that they have this experience that they got from around the world, now we want to build a new society. We
Mm.
want to build this Bahamas with new visions and dreams. Mostly that's going to come from you, the people, as we give the capital to you to do these things. And now we have qualified Bahamians, not other foreigners, that can come back home. And if we want to build a health city, a hospital facility, we
You
have
talking my
Bahamians who did
language.
that in the US. They have the experience and they know
Yes.
their country.
You
And
talking my
so
language.
now we bring all of you back home. I talked
Mm-hmm.
about our culture, and one of the things we want to do is transform the eastern part of Bay Street because it's dead right now, and we want to transform that into theater similar to what they have in Broadway. All right, where we can have live shows and bring those things back. And before we lose the talent, the people who did limbo dancing and fire eating and all those kind of stuff that we used to have back in the day, but actual plays and programs. We have persons who went to school for that, like Daisy, Dynamite Daisy, Therese Davis, and Miss Butler. I think she's Michelle Butler, from the Church of Michael Road. And they have real talent to do what they do on Broadway, but there's no opportunity here. And we want to transform that. So now Bahamians can do their thing full time. They can do their music full time. And so, like I said, we're going to build a amphitheater where persons can come, and there's a residency for Bahamian. All right. So who would come here on a cruise ship? 12 million of
Mm-hmm.
them, and we're going to increase that to 20 million because we have a vision to do so.
Right.
Who's going to come here on a cruise ship, have an opportunity to see Bahamian and not go to that?
No one.
The ships would now have to start coming overnight because Bahamian is showing at night.
Period.
And so just like you go to Las Vegas and you could see Celine Dion or Bruno Mars or whoever doing their residency or Boyz II Men, you come here and you will see Bahamian. And not only will you see Bahamian, you'll also see the new upcoming acts who's going to open for them
Yes.
and now giving them an opportunity. We need
Yep.
vision in this country. That's what's
Mm-hmm.
missing. And so now when we become the owners of this country, there's no immigration problem. because we
Uh,
need people to come work for us. It's just that they're going to come work for us, not us working for them. What's starting to happen is we trained a lot of the immigrants who came here. We taught them how to do masonry and carpentry, etc. We taught them because we wanted cheap labor. But now they are now the contractors and they're getting all the jobs and they are only hiring their people. So when you talk about xenophobia, that's not the problem. Endophobia is the problem. Endophobia means the fear of the locals being empowered. And
Mm,
so they are only hiring their own. The Chinese is hiring either the foreigners or their own.
mm,
And so now, when you have, for example, the Haitians getting the contracts, which we're seeing, and only hiring Haitians, what happens to our young men? They're left out in our own country. And so we got to transform this. We have to shift this. This is not to hate anybody. They could still come, but come work for us. All we want is a paradigm shift to where we are the boss, man, not the labor anymore. Who told you
Mr.
you got to
Bain.
be a servant?
Yeah,
Who told
Mr.
you
Bain,
that?
I said,
I'm gonna bring shoot to you right now, but just monitoring TikTok. For the TikTok people and people that are just coming in and didn't hear Mr. Bain say this before, Mr. Bain, people are saying, let me just ask the question: are you or are you not xenophobic?
I'm not xenophobic. I love all people. I gave you an example of how we got a whole jet filled it with supplies, food and medical supplies, and took it to Haiti when they had an earthquake.
All right, say less,
Just me
say
and the
less,
pilot.
say less, say less. I just wanted to people who missed that for you to be able
I
to
love
communicate that.
all
They've
people.
all
I'm against illegal immigration. That's all I'm
correct.
against.
They've also been asking you to speak, Dr. Kent Prasad. So yes.
what are people asking me to speak? Oh wow.
Yeah, they said they didn't hear nothing from you and you're the one with the problem.
I don't have a. Let's be clear. Let's be clear, please. No, no. Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. I have a problem, and by the end of this show, it's going to be had because we're going to move on, and that's what I do when I have issues. I discuss it with who I have an issue with, and we either come to an agreement or we don't, and I move on in my life. So after the show, it's going to be I had a problem, guaranteed. Now,
Correct.
correct. I enjoyed my 15 seconds of fame. It's over now. Let's move on with life. All right. So, Mr. Bain, first of all, I don't know if we thank you for coming on the show. It is extremely a big deal for us to have someone of your magnitude on our show. That's the first
yes.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal for us to have 1,400 persons watching. That's a big deal.
17.
17. Second, you made a lot of points, and there's a lot of things that I would love to have a discussion with you with if you have more time, but I'm going to try to pick just two. Let me just close the door on the previous discussion, or I guess what got us here. You said you're not xenophobic, and anybody who is xenophobic is not a part of your party. Is that what you said? Or is not welcome in your party? They're in the wrong party. You said they're in the wrong party if they're xenophobic.
You're following the wrong
Good,
person.
good enough for me. I'm done with it.
Yes.
Next is you hit a topic that's very near and dear to me that I talk about all the time. We talk about all the time on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Is how we're going to motivate our people to do better for themselves
Yes.
and not try to depend on government to do things. It sounds great to have, um, you know, $100,000 in your bank account when you graduate. Like that sounds great. And other that sounds great. I think it works if you do it, if you execute it properly. It could be amazing. We could be the number one country in the world if we can do it properly. In my opinion, though, it's not going to happen with the snap of a finger. It may take one or two or three terms of your office as prime minister for these things to happen. It's not going to happen on day one. At least I don't foresee it that way. And part of the reason is, well, there's so many things we have to fix first. We have an educational system that, and let's just try not to talk about immigration again, because before immigration was a discussion in education or illegal immigrants or children of them, the discussion was the D minus average. And we were talking about that from the 80s and 90s. So I would love to hear, and before I finish the question, my goal tonight is to fully understand beyond the point of illegal immigration, to fully learn about Mr. Lincoln Bain and what he stands for. So that's why I want to ask these two questions. Number one, I would love to hear your position and thoughts on the development of, you talked about culture a bit. I would love to hear about education, how you think we can fix this average. I honestly think we have an amazing curriculum. For whatever reason, the children aren't motivated to learn it. I looked at the BGCSE curriculum and I think it's quite good. Even children that graduate with a C average are excel when they go to the States at college. We have a very good curriculum. It's really solid, but I just think we're not doing it to our best. How do we motivate? How do we get these kids and how do we get probably even their parents to assist them to do better in school? And secondly, my close and what's near and dear to my heart.
No, one at a
Sport.
time. One at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. So, firstly, the last thing before I touch on education, I just want you to know that every woman that I've dated had a Bahamian daddy and a Jamaican mummy just by accident. Just I didn't go looking for that. That's growing up.
That's
All
all
right.
right.
When I got married, my wife had a Bahamian Long Island mummy and an Indian daddy. Well, he was Bahamian by then, but he was from India. All right. So I just want people to know that I'm not xenophobic. So my children's mother is now American. All right, and their daddy is Bahamian, and they grew up in the U.S. I'm not xenophobic. I just want people to understand that. All right. My sister is married to a Haitian from Haiti who came here the right way. I'm not. All right. So I just want to get that out of the way. And it's easy to just, because anytime someone wants to do things right, they become the enemy for some reason, because people want slackness. Those who want slackness, will continue with that. I just wanted to let you know who I am so that you could fully understand that. All right. Now, in terms of education is where it starts. Every country that excelled, they started with education. Education is the key. Japan, they took advantage of education. They were in the mouth of America. And watch where I'm going with this, but they were in the mouth of America. Sorry, they were in the mouth of China. Said it wrong. They were in the mouth of China. And so to go to China, you had to stop in Japan, buy coal to continue your ship on your coal steamship. And so they benefited from that. And that caused them to be very valuable and make a lot of money. They invested first in education. Even up to, you saw in the late 80s, early 90s, Japan was the number 2 economy in the world. They went from nothing. They even got bombed in the 40s, destroyed 2 of their major cities, but they were able to come back because they focused on educating their people, because the ideas, the plans, and everything else was supposed to come from the people, and they empowered their people, and that's how Japan became great. Singapore did the same thing. They focused on education, and in fact, I did a live broadcast. I don't know if any of you saw it, with the man they call the most creative man in the world. So if you Google the most creative man in the world, Andre, and he's a Russian last name, I can't pronounce it again, but he would come up. And so they were actually watching my live broadcast, where some Bahamians don't watch it. And they thought it was so powerful and profound, the vision that we have for the Bahamas. They reached out for me. They sent for me to come to them in Florida and on the other side. And they said, listen, your vision for the Bahamas is mind-blowing. This is what the entire region needs. It will spark something in the whole region if what you're saying comes to pass. They loved my education plan. They went and read it. Our education plan is 86 pages long. All right. That's a real plan, not bullet points like they do for election and call it a manifesto. Not bullet points. We're showing you the who, what, when, where, and how, and where the money coming from. On year 1, we do this. On year 2, we do that. On year 3, we do that. We actually gave a real plan to the Bahamian people. And so he transformed education in Singapore, Hong Kong, Europe, Finland, and other places that have the top education in the world. And he said he would be willing, if we won the election, to come to the Bahamas and do the same thing he did here in the Bahamas. Of course, using Bahamians to do it, educating the teachers on how to transform education. He saw our plan where it focused on the problem with our education is that It grades a fish by its ability to climb a tree. And
Mm.
that's the problem. People learn differently.
Yeah, they do.
And our education plan, when you read it, you're going to see it. You're going to love it. Um, uh, Teachers love it. Educators love it. The union loved it. People around the world loved it. And people were reaching out to us based on that. Even the government asked us to use parts of our plan for their, what do you call it, their national development plan. Because we have a real plan, not bullet points like they were putting together. And so people learn in different ways. There's actually 8 different ways that people learn. But for the most part, to simplify it, some people are dexterous, they learn with their hands, and some people are academic. All right. And so they learn differently. And so you also have people who are creative, like Dyson. You can teach him in a different way. In Cuba, they do that. They have athletics where they teach based on athletics, boxing, or softball or whatever, and they teach you around that. Creativity, music, etc. They teach you based on what you are good at. All right, and they identify it early in your life. And when you do that, you're actually nurturing what God sent to this earth, that gift that all of us were born with. Born is from the word baran, which means to carry. All of us
Mm.
are carrying something. We are carrying a gift for the rest of the world, but most of us die with it inside us. And
Mm.
so our education has to be to bring out what's already in us, our natural tendencies. So we have to change the way we do education. So we have a major plan to invest heavily in education. Our sports program is going to be second to none because we're going to identify our athletes early and teach them based on their athleticism and a little bit of the education wherever their strength is. And so we're going to get monies back from that, a return on investment, because whenever they see the Bahamas on a jersey, that causes people to think about the Bahamas. Nike pays billions just to put a swoosh on someone's jersey or shoes. And so we're going to get a return on investment from that by investing in our young people early. At universities fund their universities by focusing on sports in the United States. And we're going to do the same thing here in the Bahamas. Our athletes train in America. American
Mhm.
athletes train in America. Jamaican athletes train in Jamaica. But for us to get an opportunity, we got to leave the country. No, man.
Yeah.
Our job, guys, is to transform this country, and it starts with
Mm.
education. So for Barbados, I had a shoe business, a tennis shoe business. It was very, very profitable, did very well. And I wanted to expand in the Caribbean. So the first place I expanded was after doing research was Barbados because they are so similar to us. Their whole country is about the size of Nassau, which is most of our country is Nassau, the way we have developed it economically. Similar population, etc. So I said maybe I can start there with the experience I have with Nassau and expand into Barbados. So I went there. And in Barbados, we opened up and we were interviewing people and hiring people. Everyone was educated. It's like we were going through resumes, and the problem wasn't finding qualified people. The problem was everyone was qualified. And that's why you saw at a certain point, a lot of our banks, etc., were putting their headquarters out of the Bahamas and sending it to Barbados or sending it to
Mm.
other places. And so to get a loan or something here, you had to go, permission had to go through Barbados. And that's because they gave free education up to university level. We are basically celebrating a D average and keep voting for these people who keep failing. We're putting lawyers to be ministers of education. All right, people with no experience in education to be ministers of education. Our shadow minister of education was a man with a master's degree who trained persons in Miami about education, etc., and in the United States. And he decided, as a Bahamian, to come back to transform his country. But we voted, and now we got Chester Cooper there, and we feel, that that's the best thing to do. I don't think that that's the best thing to do. I mean, Chester is a good, accomplished man, but education, we think we can do better. So in terms of education, we're going to invest heavily in it. We're going to make sure all of our schools are fed. I think Brave them stole that idea from us. They started a breakfast program, but there should be a breakfast and lunch program. Why not? Make sure we have proper cafeterias. Our children shouldn't be eating out of the back of cars or from shacks in the back of the school. Proper cafeterias, and every school should have air conditioning. You wouldn't think of building an office building without education today. Why would you build schools to have our teachers working and having to fan themselves all day? That should not happen.
Foolishness.
And so we're going to transform education. So it's 86 pages. Go and look at our plans, and you'll be able to see that is the way to go.
So
Nice.
do you think that sorry, this actually is, I think, is a better question. But do you think that the change will happen right away? Um, we I understand there's an infrastructure. You spoke a lot about infrastructure, and you spoke a lot about creating opportunities. I'm the person. I personally believe that we have a lot of opportunities, and actually, somebody said it just now. There are Bahamians that are working very hard. There are Bahamians that are trying to educate themselves and do well in school. But we have a large percentage, and I think we've lost the kind of that kind of culture of excellence that it was around the time when we were in high school where doing well wasn't cool anymore. It became kind of uncool in somewhere in the 90s with Generation X. Being cool and being sitting in the front of the class and doing well, especially as a male, you was a punk if you're doing well in school. So it's probably even worse now. And I don't think that's a problem that can just be solved with the change of a government, although there definitely can be some influence there. What would you say to, I guess, encourage or see how, or any ideas that you have in that regard as far as dealing with what we have right now, speaking to those persons we have in school and those parents who have a lot of challenges with their children, are getting them to do better in school?
Yeah, I wish you had watched that program that we did with Andrei Kalinikov, I think his name is. You would see that this can happen like that overnight. Let me tell you something. I know of Bahamians who were failures in school in the Bahamas, moved to the United States with their family, and all of a sudden they were A students. How is that? The same child. All right. I know of Dr. Edward Robinson. Have you ever heard about him?
No, sir.
Well, Dr. Ballard, Dr. Robinson worked very closely with your mother on a lot of different things. You should have a conversation with him. I'll send you his number. He came to work in the Bahamas when he was young as an educator. He did the E.P. Roberts choir, transformed it. He had a bunch of students in that choir who were regular students, but because they wanted to be a part of that choir and because of how he educated them outside of just the music and all that we did, all of us became A students, every single one. And it transformed them. There was actually a young man who was Haitian, all right? His name was Jarvis, right? Jarvis was a bully in the school. He would beat up, children, and no one could understand why he would just be so misbehaved, because normally that wasn't what the Haitian children were like. But Jarvis was like a bully. He would just beat up people for no reason. And I was known as a bully killer. And we went and well, he was bullying someone I know, and I went there and I beat him up to shreds. I wasn't someone who would get in fights with, when I couldn't stand seeing someone else being bullied, and I would always beat up the bully. And so I beat him up. And so because it was a fight, we were in trouble. They called Mr. Robinson because I was one of his star students and the lead singer in the choir. And Mr. Robinson did what no one else did with Jarvis, and he talked to him. Jay Sewell, sorry, I said Jarvis, Jay Sewell. And he talked to him, and he realized that the boy was being a bully because he didn't want people to tease him for being a Haitian. And so he'd beat you up first so that you wouldn't tease him. You wouldn't dare tease him. And so that's the mindset he had. But he wanted to do something and do something with his life. He didn't have much hope. Mr. Robinson gave this boy a drum. He couldn't sing. He couldn't play music like us. And he gave him a drum and had him as a part of the choir. All of a sudden, he was the most well-behaved boy. He all of a sudden started doing well in school, acing, ended up in the first stream. All of a sudden, just small things transformed. A lot of our young people are hopeless. And the mindset you're talking about wouldn't happen if you have a school, for example, where is a school for athletes, and they're teaching you based on that. It wouldn't be uncool now to excel in that. If you have a school that's based on science and stuff that young people might be interested in, it won't be uncool anymore to excel in that. You see the difference? And so we had some bad boys in Princeville, but they could run fast. They were the top runners in our school. And when they found that and found that love, they transformed. The teacher started to love them. They were the sweetest boys that you could find. People are missing their purpose, and that's why they're misplaced. Some of those young men, they talented, to be, they are leaders, but they're misplaced leaders, those gang leaders. A drug dealer is the most gifted businessman.
Yeah.
He has to find a way outside of the system to ship his product, to distribute his product. He has to find ingenuity to do that. And so it's just misplaced because he has to do that because he doesn't have any other way and there's no hope. We have to bring the hope to our families, and that's what this whole thing is about. So, about your question about how fast can it happen, we believe that it can happen very quickly. He gave us example of when he went to Singapore and how they told him, listen, we need to see within a week or two, it had transformed everyone. The students were transformed. They gave him the worst students and he transformed them. I told you about Edward Robinson because when he left the Bahamas, they offered him a master's degree to go back to the US and he left us. The choir was called Children's Future. Even Lisa Raming was a part of it. A lot of people was a part of it. Tomorrow's Future, sorry. And he went back over there and he got his education and they put him in the worst school in Miami. All right. And they even put a bunch of those new Cuban children who had just come over. Remember in the 80s, those bunch of Cuban children had people had come over and they put him with there where some of them couldn't speak the language and they put him to be an educator. And he transformed that school. He became the principal of that school, and he transformed that school from F average, probably, to all A's. And the system was shocked at how he was able to do this. He wasn't teaching every class, but because of how he administrated that school and dealt with the students, it transformed the school. There's a real story you can read, but there's a book right now. There's two books about this right now in the United States of America, where you can see these stories. All right. And we're featured in one of them. And so it transformed the school. They then tried to take Mr. Robinson and put him in the area. There was big protests because he transformed that school in 1 year to everyone was a B or A average. And they tried to move him out of there, and that's with no resources, and put him in a suburban school. There was big protests to kind of stop it, but they still went forward with it. And he even transformed the grades there and then came back. And so I just said it to say a lot of things that they make you think takes long is because they want things to take long. They don't want to do nothing in this country. The stuff that Dubai accomplished in just 50 years, we can do greater than that because we have them as an example. They already know how to get things done. The stuff that we can do, they are intentionally failing us. Intentionally because they don't want to empower us, because they don't want us to come and compete with them for their little business they have, because they're not educated. They don't have real vision. They just have an opportunity to have the power to keep you down and keep them up.
Awesome.
Wow.
Mr. Bain, I just think it's outstanding. I think your message is incredible, and
Yes.
I want to point out and move into I mean, a lot of people came into the live expecting it to be ignorance on our behalf as the hosts. I've been watching and following the comments, and I want people to understand that everything isn't as it seems, as it appears to be at times. Sometimes we communicate in ways in order to spark a conversation that we believe needs to be had, and it's sad that the way that things have to be done in order to get people's attention is to border on the line of ignorance, to border on the line of blatant stupidity. But this conversation that we're having now is a progressive one. It is meant to expose the things that Mr. Bain has been saying a lot during his campaign, but people have been focusing on whatever, anything else but things of substance. And one of the questions, I want to get it out of the way, just for the sake of knowing that there are trolls and people that wasn't expect to see this level of conversation on the show. so y'all can get your little 2 cents in. But people wanna talk about how is it possible um, that every Bahamian can receive $100,000 on an acre of land, and what would qualify the Bahamian to be able to receive that, and that is something that I believe your party probably mentioned or promised or whatever the case may be. That's a fair question. But this one
It
about
is.
who money you owe which lady, y'all, come on, focus. All everything this man just said,
Yeah.
all these things, all these uplifting, progressive things this
Truly.
man has just said, y'all want to talk about anyway. Mr. Bain, yes, $100,000 on an acre of land, please.
All right. So basically, we have about 4 million acres of crown land. All right. It's really 500,000 of that is wetland, and so it's really 3.5, right? Because you don't want to touch the wetland unless you have to. All right, like how they did in South Florida. But um, that's 4 million acres of crown land. There are 200,000 Bahamian adults.
Mm.
Okay? That doesn't touch the inventory. So it is very possible to empower our people through land. The first thing that you do when you want to empower a people is give them land. All right?
Yes.
It's the first thing
Mm-hmm.
happened in the Bible in the book of Genesis. That's what he gave us, land. And he told us what
Mm-hmm.
was in it, the natural resources, the water and the onyx and the gold. And he said it was a good gold. I was shocked when I saw that in the Bible, the good gold. The people who don't even wear jewelry yet, but it was
Right.
there for us. When the children of Israel crossed over to the Jordan River, the first thing they did was divvy up all the land. They cast
Yes.
lots. That's why they call them lots today, because they had a disc, and they would flip the disc. And so basically, heads, you get that piece, tails, you get that piece. All right. And so they gave every single person a piece of land when they crossed over into the promised land. And so that's how you empower people. In early America, the American government would give land in the West to their citizens, because the international law is that wherever you have a citizen living, that's your land, that's your territory. And so to stop Mexico from coming up or Spain from coming up, they would make sure that the British first and then Americans would get land in those western areas to occupy it. Canada did the same thing. They would give land, I mean, free. People say, oh, you want free things. No, no, no. They would give their citizens to empower them land in the western side of Canada, just north of Seattle, Washington, etc., to make sure that America couldn't come up further north. All right. That's how they established, and that's how they empowered their people. And in the West, they started to realize that there was gold in their hills. And so more people started to go west into California, etc. And it made sense to go to war to fight over that area to them. So land is what you empower people with. And so we need to empower Bahamians with land ownership. If we have more land ownership, we are going to be more patriotic. We're going to love this place even more. And so I believe that if we give land to people, and there's a lot of land all over the country, and we have plans to bring economy to all of our southern islands, because that's the key. All right, bring economy to them and cause people to want to move back to those islands, because there's a lot of opportunity there, and it's going to spread us out in those islands, and then you bring foreigners in to work for you. Simple as that. All right. So the land part is doable because there is enough land to do so. That's the first part. And it's very easy. The government just has to want to do it. The reason it has not happened is because the FNM and PLP are in the land business. They have a company called Arwak Homes that both of them own together, persons from them. And they use our crown land, put one shabby house on it, and then sell it to you. At the time as you finish paying for that, you paying $500,000 is not low cost. All right, you calculate your payments and your fees, etc. You could be end up paying with 500 grand by the end of your payments, and so that's why they don't give us the crown land when they can. All right, other than for political gain, they give it to their cronies and then say, "See, we giving out crown land," or they give it to some pastors or something like that. And so they keep it from us because they benefit from it. Just want you to know that. Right. Now, to how we can get money. According to our government, we have $3 trillion of business transactions that moves through our country. We're not taxing all of that. There's a lot of opportunity to tax that. Right? This is what they published in the papers. We have an opportunity to tax that one, even if it's at 10%. That's a huge amount of money right there alone. All right, 10% of 3 trillion. That sounds like 300 billion. All right. Um, we have the opportunity to grow our economy. I'm not talking about the natural resources and the carbon credits yet. I'll get to that. I talk about Japan being in the mouth of America, and then there was Singapore in the mouth of Asia. And so to get to Asia, you had to go through, if you're coming from that way, you go through Singapore, and then they build themselves up. They have no natural resources, but they made every single citizen a millionaire. Google it. 1 in 6 households has $1 million in cash, not worth. That's cash. All right. The other 5 in 6, that's people who came over to work for them. The citizens have $1 million in cash because of how they operate. All right. We are in the mouth of America, the number one economy in the history of the world, greater than Rome. And the only thing we benefiting is smuggling some drugs across the border and letting some other people come and build hotel in our country and take the money out of the country. No, there's much more that we could be benefiting from, like Singapore did, and even Dubai did it by being the trade hub for Asia, for Middle Asia. All right, we have to know what we have. Our politicians sit down waiting for a foreigner to come and say, "I want to build a hotel there. Here's your under the table money. So do what you want." No vision, no plan for anything. And that's what the problem is. They are lazy, not the Bahamian people. They are.
Right.
And they keep us down so that we can depend on them. And you saw it in this election for $50 in a t-shirt. And they feel like gods when they come with that $50 or $100 because you doing so bad.
Mm.
And so there's a lot of money to be made by transforming. And if you see our vision over the years, Grand Bahama, for example, is in the Mall of America. That's a free trade zone. We could have an economy that rivals Singapore, which is a $500 billion economy that Singapore has. We can do better than that with Freeport alone, based on the things that we want to get into. We want to have a real Freeport that Panama is a joke to, all right? Because everyone will be coming to us to shop in our free trade zone. We can bring stuff in from around the world for places like Walmart. They can store their stuff in Grand Bahama in Freeport, and when they're ready for it, then they bring it over as they need. They don't have to wait months for it to come from China, and they don't have to pay the tariffs right away because it's in a free trade zone right outside, and they just pay the storage and little fees that'll be less than the tariffs they would have had to pay right away, and they have easy access to their stuff. So that bottleneck that they had during the lockdowns wouldn't have affected them, etc. They would pay for that. And so we just don't have vision, or we just waiting for a foreigner to come and say it and then pay some money under the table. And so that alone can make Freeport more than $100 billion economy. We want to go into the cruise ship business. Why don't we own a cruise ship? Margaritaville is a restaurant. They thought to buy cruise ships for a couple $100 million. Why aren't we in that business? Why don't we have cruise ships that will move our tourists around to the different islands to build up the economies on those islands? To start off, because you got to do this quick, because like Dr. Bazard said, it's going to take time. No, it doesn't. If you have the right kind of thinking to get it done quickly. We already have a deep sea dock in Morgan's Bluff. All right. You have one in Abaco that they built. It just has it sitting there, and in Cooperstown. All right. So you take it to places where they have docks. All you have to do is build out resorts. The same thing the cruise ships are doing. The same thing they just did on Paradise Island. All right. A beach getaway. All right. You can do that on our different islands. Bahamians will be the vendors, etc. And now they will make money from that. And all of this is owned by our sovereign wealth fund. So everyone gets a check, a dividend check every year from that sovereign wealth fund. All right. And so this is where money is coming from now. Carnival normally makes $20 billion a year from sailing our waters. Royal Caribbean makes $10 billion a year. We believe that both of them are going to double because they did more sailings this year to make up for what happened in COVID. And so now with these kinds of things, why aren't we in the shipping business? Right now, every container that comes through the Panama Canal and is going to America stops in Freeport is a hub. The container changes ship, that ship goes back, and the next ship goes into America. But we're not benefiting from that. Why aren't we in the shipping business? MSC would not be able to compete with us if we have
Mm.
ships that we buy. We spend $300 million in defense for a ship. That could be a cruise ship that we actually make money from. That could be a couple of those container ships. Now we're bringing the stuff from China, for example, and we store it for those persons. They get storage in our free trade zone, right in Freeport, that they don't have to pay tariffs right away, and we store it for them before they go in America. No one can compete with that because we got the land. Now this is thinking on a different level. This is competitive advantage that we would have. Why aren't we in the shipping business, making the billions of dollars that MSC and Maersk is making? And when I say we, I mean it's not run by government. It's run by professionals like yourselves, and it's owned by the sovereign wealth fund. And all of us, because of our birth certificate, gets a share in that, and you can buy more based on your ability or what you want to do. And so we'll be like the Emirates in Dubai, etc., where people go there and they see them, they think they're royalty. No, they're citizens, and that's how Bahamians can be. That's what we believe. Next, we go to our carbon credits. Um, uh, they are certified to be worth just the seagrass alone, $156 billion. That's not my words. That's their words. All right. That's the University of Michigan did a study, and the Bahamas seagrass alone is worth $156 billion. Why don't we go get that? That's a
Mm.
value. Even if you just get 50 billion of that, even if you just
Mhm.
get 10 billion of that,
Mhm.
that's a value. Go get it. Why are we sitting down on that? We are too lazy. And so that alone. So the government right now is working about 11.34 billion dollars of it. I've shown documents to that extent on my lives already. And they have 4 boats that's actually measuring the seagrass right now, but we're not going to benefit from that. They got rid of our sovereign wealth fund and they did something called a national investment fund. And now private companies and private individuals, the same old oligarchs, are going to be
Wow.
benefiting from that. And we just voted for that. That money could have been going to us, and that's per year. All right. That could have been going to us. But because we're like the slaves after they ended slavery in America, there were slaves on plantations who just didn't believe it. And there were some slaves who didn't want it. You know, how we could do that? How where we could get a house from, where we could get clothes and food from, who we could work for. We don't have no skills. We only know how to pick cotton. And
Mm.
so slavery lasted not because of the slave masters, but because of the slaves. They had
Mindset.
to literally send
Mm.
persons around dressed
Mindset.
like Massa, kind of like Django, and wearing
Mm.
shoes and riding on a horse to go to the plantations to let the slaves see them to say that listen, y'all is free. Y'all is
Right.
free. Y'all don't have to stay on the plantation no more. And
Right.
Massa sitting there on the porch with his lemonade. He ain't educating them. He ain't denying it because legally he can't. He said, y'all gonna listen to this uppity Negro?
Mm.
Y'all better go back and pick them cotton, and they
Mhm.
just didn't
M-
believe because it's
Mindset.
easy to believe that
Mm-hmm.
something is not possible than to try.
Yes.
Ah.
And so the pessimist always sounds smart, the optimist always gets things done. And so can we get $100,000? Well, first of all, we didn't come up with that. That came when Ingram gave a deal, a Raganite deal, to a company right before election, I guess for payoffs. I don't know, but it was right before election. The unions at the time, the union leaders, they did an investigation on the ragonite industry, and they realized that we could make money from that. And they said they did a document. We've been sharing it for years. And the document said that every household in the Bahamas from a ragonite alone can get $100,000. That's their thing that they came up with, and they gave it to Perry Christie. I think that was 2014 or so, and he formed the Sovereign Wealth Fund. He said, yes, this is true. It can be done. We're going to go in that direction. He formed the Sovereign Wealth Fund. That's to, I guess, to keep the unions on his side, keep them quiet. He never intended to do it. But it was that,
Got
yes,
it.
every household can get $100,000. We're forming the Sovereign Wealth Fund and moving in that direction. And they dragged their feet and never did it. But it came from them. When we started studying this in 2020, we realized that that was just a ragonite. That's not the limestone that's being dredged every day, 24 hours a day in Grand Bahama and around this country. That's not any of the other natural resources that we have. And so when we did our research, we realized that they were selling aragonite for up to $7,000 a ton. And you can go on our website and watch the documentaries. They're still right there. Go to coalitionofindependence.com and look in the menu and look for documentaries. And everything I'm saying is right there. And you can see where it's mostly $3,500, $3,000 a ton, but it was sold for up to $7,000 a ton. But they made an agreement to get it for $2 a ton. You can't make that kind of money selling coke. You can't make that kind of profit selling diamonds and gold. But that's what they were doing. But it gets worse. Those miners who gave me the document, because they feel that Bahamians were being ripped off, and they thought that just showing it to Bahamians would cause them to wake up and rise up. And I told them, I said, well, you don't know Bahamians. But
Yeah.
they said that the government wasn't even collecting the $2 from them.
Wow.
They were trying to pay their fair due because they have to, on the international world, they have to appear to be ethical, getting it in an ethical way. But the government only worrying about their under the table money and not what they could get. So they're sitting down telling us everything is impossible. It's only 200,000 of us. This country could make billions and billions of dollars. They are keeping it down because a few people control all the money and a few politicians control what gets done. That's why we are to the level we are at. So at this level, no, you can't get that. But we can expand things right now. We already have a free trade zone. The minute when we get in, we're going to take that over. We're going to take that over, and we're going to make that something that rivals Panama. And it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar situation there. They have cruise ships that they trade in constantly because they're constantly trying to improve. You start with the used cruise ships. You can do that instantly. Within a month or two, we can be in the cruise ship business. During the lockdowns, they were selling cruise ships for scrap metal because it cost them more to maintain them, just waiting for when it was going to open back. And so they just sold them for nothing. And so we could have bought cruise ships for nothing at the time. During the lockdowns, Morton salt was for sale, not in Agua. And for a couple $100 million, we could have bought Morton salt and controlled salt in the world, expanded our salt footprint by using the 13 salt ponds that we have around the country, not just in Agua. It's all over, Ragged Island, Exuma, Long Island, etc. We could have been the number one producers of salt in the world, but our leaders have no vision, and we keep voting for them. And they keep dividing us on small, petty issues so that we will never come together. And that's what the problem is. It's up to our generation. I'm in my 40s. Pintard is in his 60s. Brave is in his 70s. He's 75 next month. Well, in a couple of days, actually. It's up to our generation to do something. These fellas grew up counting pounds and shilling. They don't know about this world. They don't know about crypto. They don't know about what we could do to take this country forward. We need people from our generation. Like Pinlin in his 30s took over, like Ingram in his 40s took over. We need people from our generation to do something, man, and stop the laziness. So the $100,000, it can be done easily, even if only from the monies that was stolen from us. There was reports that $8 billion a couple of years ago, it was in one bank to Bahamian passports. All right, that's the politicians hiding our money. Immediately, we take that back. All right, we're taking that. And so that's only one. That's one. That's enough to give all of us about $60,000 right there. All right, because we believe it's 150,000 Bahamian adults, 21 and over, who's going to be getting these yearly dividends. And so there's a lot of other situations that we believe that the money can come in right away. That $11.34 billion. If it's 150,000 Bahamians, you need $15 billion. I just showed you 8 billion. I just showed you 11.34 billion. Now, Vaughn Miller, who recently passed away, he showed documents where $5.4 billion was worth of limestone was taken from Grand Bahama every 16 months. So let's say $5 billion every year, right? Um, and so that's another $5 billion right there. That's the raw value. That's not what it's sold for. That's just the raw value. And so some people ask, well, how if these people already have the contract, how are you going to get the contract from them? You'll have to take the contracts back from them. You can't do that. No, we don't want to take anything from them. They want to pay their fair share. It's them who gave me the information for the documentary. They feel that the politicians are robbing the Bahamian people and trying to
Mm.
get this under the table money. That's what their focus is. And so we believe that they would want to make arrangements to get their fair share. But even if so, no one has an exclusive on our aragonite, limestone, or any natural resource. They just have the right to do it. So, for example, you can open a shoe store. That don't stop someone else from opening a shoe store. So if they're digging, we'll be digging right next to them. All right. If they're making salt, we'll be making salt right next to them. And so we go in the business too. That's what Norway did. They found oil. They didn't know how to dig oil. They let another company do it. I think it was Shell. And when they got oil, they paid 92% was for Norway and the 8% was for the company. And they allowed for expenses and brought it down to 87% for Norway. Sorry, and the rest for the company. In Saudi Arabia, um, 10%. The company gets 15%. So we don't want to stop
Mm.
them from digging. We don't want to stop them from mining. We just want our royalties from it, our fair
We
share.
need our
And
own,
they are
right?
willing to pay it because the customer can pay that. They're not going to pay that. So, so we just need a different kind of mindset. Last thing I'll show you. I know you've been talking long. When Atlantis came to the Bahamas, Saul Kirsten met with our government and they gave him everything in the kitchen sink. They gave him crown land. They gave him $1 billion in concessions. By the way, it was costing $1 billion to build Atlantis, so he was able to build that for free. They even changed the direction of the road for him. Bay Street and Shirley Street. They changed the direction to make everything point towards him. They gave him everything. Now, when he made the money here in the Bahamas, he wanted to expand, so he went to Dubai. And he's a Jew and they're Muslim, so you would think they wouldn't want to do business, but they put business first. And they told him, okay, you can come in our country, this Dubai now, but you're going to own half and the people of Dubai is going to own half. So all of them said, deal. They said, no, 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 we're not finished. They said, we want a piece of all of the properties you have around the world. We want a piece of Sun City. We want a piece of the Bahamas. And we want a piece of the Las Vegas thing if that ever come off the ground. They were like, deal. It's like, no, 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 we're not finished. And we're Muslim, no casino. Deal. Now, you see the difference in the negotiation? They negotiated for their people, not for their government,
Mm.
Not, oh, the government go own half and you go. No, no, no. For the people
Mm-hmm.
to own a part. That's the difference. This is the expansion that we need. This is the new direction that we need. You're not hearing this from the PLP or FNM. They want to continue to be in control of you. We want them to let our people go and to free our people. We want to empower our people. And this is the honest to God, genuine truth. This is all we want for our people so that we will never be slaves again.
Mr. Ben,
Wow. I
um, you,
I
Ans
could
wanted to
listen
say
to no,
something.
yeah. I mean, I could listen to him talk all day, actually. Because of the vision. Like it's empowering, right? And like I actually had a question while you was talking, Mr. Bean. Do you have anything planned that you could say could make the healthcare better in the Bahamas, or to make, nurses like myself who have advanced degrees in nursing, like want to come back home, be able to, work home and do our part, to work home in the hospitals in the Bahamas? I mean, I
Um,
ask because I'm a part of many Bahamian nursing groups, and it's like there's always a outpouring of crying of how it could be better.
Yes, I can tell you our plan for nursing. My children's mother, two of my children, so one woman, my children's mother is a nurse, and she was a nurse
Nice,
in the PMH, and that was a horrible experience. And she
right?
went to the States to live, and she's a U.S. citizen, and she's living in the States, and she's running. She was running departments in the U.S. and
Same.
she's specializing in heart care and stuff like that.
Very
But
nice.
she can't come home because they have no use for what she does because they're not on that level.
Exactly.
We have an amazing plan for healthcare that we've been putting forward to the people. Our healthcare plan first is going to focus on the nurses. We're going to pay you. When we start in our healthcare plan, and again, that's on our website. Also, go to Vision 2030. Go on our website, and you'll see Vision 2030, and you can see our plan for healthcare. Again, it's
Okay.
multiple pages,
Right.
um, and you will see that we're going to pay you, and we're going to pay you competitive with the U.S.
So you
Why
mean
would
I
we
coming
do
home
that?
then?
Yeah, you can come home.
I
We got to
mean,
vote for it.
because
Because why would we pay you? Because we need it. We can't have
yes,
hospitals that is running out of nurses or working nurses too hard. All right.
absolutely.
We can't have hospitals that's running out of doctors. And so if there's competition, you got to step your game up. And
Period.
so if nurses are worth that because they could jump on a plane and go to America, no, we're going to keep them home. What they do sometimes is they let our nurses go because they don't want to. There's a policy in the Bahamas to not overpay Bahamians to keep you poor. All right, that's a real policy. I wish I could get into it here, but
I
you'll
believe
understand it.
it. I
All
believe
right.
it. Yes.
Yeah, many foreign investors came here and wanted to pay Bahamians more, and the politicians told them, no, 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 don't do that. You'll ruin everything. But what they do is they
Wow.
bring foreign nurses from
That's
other
so true.
places to work here to replace our nurses who left, and then they do housing and all kind of other expenses they pay for these foreigners. Well, if they calculate it, they could have just given our nurses a raise so they don't leave because none of them really want to leave.
Exactly. Right.
All right? Because
Right.
they can't find kung salad, real kung salad over there, and bamboo shark and chicken in the bag and the food
Mr.
we love.
Bain, Mr.
You want to
Bain.
be home. You want to be able to go
Trust
park on the
me.
beach in the middle of
Exactly.
the night and just talk. And
But the
so,
thing is, it's like, I don't mean to cut you off.
mm,
I have been trying to register with the nursing board in the Bahamas for well over a year and can't get nobody to answer the phone, nobody replying to the emails, nobody replying to the questions, nobody
yeah.
like it's like, so do y'all want y'all educated nurses to be there or do y'all not? like what, like I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
This
Okay, I think
has
I
been a
lost
lot.
connection for a second. I only heard you say you can't get email replies, etc.
Oh no, like from the board even, like trying to, register in the Bahamas, to go about, being a part of making things better. It's like, yeah, we go to the US and we get these advanced degrees. And like for myself, I'm in nurse administration, running one of the biggest departments at the hospital where I'm at. And so many things that I know that I could pour into my Bahamian people. But I know that the same welcoming or the same respect that I get for my degrees here, I know that I won't get that home.
No, you won't. They intentionally make everything don't work properly so that they keep everything in chaos so that they can benefit from the chaos. All right, we could have a whole show just on that, and I could outline that to you, and you'll see wow, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But our plan for our healthcare is phenomenal. We're going to transform healthcare in this country. There was a company that came to the Bahamas during the lockdowns during that time, and they wanted to do a health city in the Bahamas in Freeport. And Minister and Dr. Sands, they ran them away because I
Mm,
guess they felt they would lose money if this system came and it was going to be much cheaper healthcare but better healthcare. And so the people went to Caymans. And so now we have doctors from here that go to Cayman for healthcare because it's cheaper there
mm,
for different surgeries and stuff. And that could have been in the Bahamas,
right.
and so they don't want anything that we could benefit from. Everything that hurts us, they benefit from financially. So you'll never have hospitals in the Family Islands because they make money from the air ambulance, etc. You'll never have a proper hospital in the Bahamas because there's still no plan to do a proper general hospital. They talking about some maternity clinic, glorified maternity clinic, right? But you'll never have a proper general hospital because they make money from you having to get services privately from them. And so they'll
Mm.
never give you good service in the hospital. And so we got to transform that. We're not making, none of our people are making money from hurting you. And so that's why we'll transform what's going on. But if you read our plan for healthcare, it'll blow your mind. And it's going to
I
be a
will.
wellness plan, all right,
Hmm.
where we put wellness first. We're going to have
Yes.
free healthcare. And how are we going to do that? People say, oh, you can't afford it. This date, the F&M said it's got $500 million to give free healthcare, and there was a estimates up to $700 million. But what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that you stay healthy, because if you want to be a
Yes.
part of our free healthcare program, you're going to participate in our wellness program, which means that you're going to get a health advisor assigned to you. And so health advisors are people that assigned them, and they're going to monitor your health. They're going to make sure every year you go for your test, etc. And the reason healthcare is so bad in the Bahamas is because you don't go for tests until something really hurting or it ain't working. All right. And by
Yes.
then, by the time you find out what's going on, you're at stage 4 of whatever it is. And it's really bad. And so, but what we want to do is make sure that these tests are free to you so you can go and get these things done. And so we can keep ahead of what's happening. If you're at risk for any
Absolutely.
reason, those tests may go to 6 months or 3 months. You'll be a
Okay.
part of a mobile app where they can check on you and monitor you if you're at serious risk or something, and to make sure that you don't get to the point where you have any kind of chronic, serious situation.
Right.
And so that's what our healthcare program is going to be about. So there's mobile apps. Now you're going to have telehealth where you can go on a mobile app and in 90 seconds you're in front of a doctor. Because 80% of what we go to A&E for, you don't need to go physically to A&E for. And so
Right.
we're going to be able to use that to clear out what is needed, all the infrastructure that's needed by going online for some of this stuff. And we're going
Hmm.
to make sure that we have more healthy people. All right.
Oh,
And you're going to get
yes.
advantages from being healthy, and it's going to take the load off of our healthcare system. And so now what would have cost 500 million might cost 100 million. And we can do that now
Exactly.
because their travel budget was 80 something $1 million. All right. So that means we can do
So,
this now.
so,
So we just have
Mr.
to have
Ben.
vision to get things done.
I need to connect with you, Mr. Bean.
You
Question.
call
Because
me anytime.
Question.
you,
Question.
you speak in my language. Wellness?
Quick
Yes.
Yeah.
question. Um, so with everything you've said so far in the duration of this show, right? It sounds phenomenal, right? So my question to you is, with all the answers and potential answers to the problems that faces the Bahamas as a whole, what would you say is the reason why you're not in the position to make these things happen right now? You, as a person.
In position, well, we have to be able to take the government. We have to get the pen. All right.
Right.
The pen makes the difference. And the people who have the pen, they're benefiting from things the way they are now. Your electricity is high because the FM and PLP own Focal that sells oil to BPL. And so they benefit from your high electricity because the fuel surcharge is the real part of your bill, not the bill. And so everything that hurts you, they benefit from. And so they're going to spend whatever money they have to do, whatever they have to do to make sure that no party that's not a part of their clique and their system becomes a part of this, or has a seat at the table to expose what's going on. Their biggest mission in this last election was to stop me from getting House of Assembly because they know that I would have exposed to the Bahamian people what's really happening. And they knew I know the power of an MP to be able to stop a lot of things that they're doing. You don't have to be the majority to do it. Any MP has certain powers, and they know that I know the rules and I know the law. And so they were willing to spend whatever they had and do whatever they had to do to make sure that I didn't get in there. But guess what? I am an idea whose time has come. I'm not Lincoln Bain, and so they're stretched to kill me. There's the hundred
Wow.
thousand dollar hit they have on me that's gone to $200,000. They're
What?
gonna try sue me, lock me up, do everything in the world to stop the things that I'm saying, because it's going to mess up their system that they've become accustomed to by keeping people poor. But
Mm.
guess what? Some young person listening to this today, if we don't do make a change, it's going to happen. It has to happen. And so that's why I'm spending every Sunday at 5 o'clock educating the people. And I thought that y'all were so important that for the first time, I canceled my Sunday show. That's how much I
Oh,
think of
thank
y'all.
you.
That's how
Thank
important
you.
you all are to me. I canceled my Sunday show. All right. Because y'all may be the people who have to take this message forward, who have to spread this to the rest of the country. I believe in you. I knew two of you before this, and I believe in Dr. Bazard. I believe in Dyson. He's done young stuff with young people already that I've known about. And I believe that it's our generation that has to do this. That's why I stopped everything for this purpose right here. And so once we are able, it's not about me, it's about Bahamian people. This is about transformation for us. And so once we can come together, our generation can rise up and have these conversations and realize that there's so much potential, so much that we can change together to come together and make this happen and stop focusing on parties and party politics and focus on the potential that we have. The transformation is going to come.
Gotcha.
100% agree.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that
I think it'll be fit. I think it would be fitting for you to head us to the outside of the show, Dr. Bazard,
yeah.
seeing as though. Yeah.
You want me to close up?
Yeah. I mean, please.
Sure. Like I said, let's bring to an end this cycle of whatever that was for the past 7 days. Mr. Bain has very graciously visited us on this show. And for those persons who are commenting, when guests come on our show, we allow them to speak.
We allow them to speak, exactly.
We allow them to speak when guests come on the show. We don't keep interrupting them. We let them say whatever it is that they came to say and get their point across. That was the whole point of having Mr. Bain on the show, so that everybody could hear his positions on various things. And I myself wanted to learn what his positions were on various things. So I want to, first of all, say thank him for being here. You sang in the choir with my mom. That's amazing. So I have to give you some big points there. I wish maybe we can do a part 2 of this in a few weeks if you're not busy, but we can probably get together, because there's some things I would love to discuss based on what you mentioned as well, but we ran out of time. But what we like to emphasize on this show, and Mr. Bain said the magic word, I don't know if he listens to us sometime, but transformation is what we talk about on this show all the time. And what we like to get people to focus on with Dyson Knight, who leads us as a group, is that you can make a change while politics is important. T-shirt color and the gang signs are less important. You can make a change every day. Every day you can impact on somebody's life. Every day you can improve your own life. Every day you can be beneficial to someone who needs it, or an inspiration to someone who needs it. It doesn't take the government to do it. The government doesn't need to be involved to do it. No type of magical gift or grant. You can do it just with a few words of encouragement, just by being nice to somebody, just by being polite and supportive, just by supporting your fellow Bahamians' business or your fellow Bahamians' event, just by acting in a decent human being when you go out. You can make this entire Bahamas a better place each day without the aid of any political party. So that's where I'm going to end. Thank you guys for joining us, Mr. Knight. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, and thank you.